Hello and welcome to another episode of Diplo Strats. I'm Captain Meme. I'm here once again with Ezio. Hi Ezio.
Hello, hello.
And this is a game that for once I'm going in blind to because this is not my game, this is Ezio's one. And this was one of the semi-final games in the Olympus tournament. Olympus Season 4. It's a tournament that of standard diplomacy that takes place on Discord. There'll be a link to their Discord server in the description. Ezio played it last year. We commentated every game that Ezio played last year, including some that didn't go so well, such as perhaps the shortest Austria game we've seen in history, right? And I think that happened again to you in an earlier game in this tournament. Am I correct there?
It wasn't nearly as catastrophic as the previous one, which is why we can't do it because it actually took a lot of time and to analyze what it was a relatively interesting game, but one that I ultimately was eliminated in by like 06 or something. So I had lost in an Austria game. I've also lost in a Turkey game in the first round, but then I won a Russia game, which got me into the second round, and then so this is the semifinals. We're just not doing the whole tournament run because the other games were less interesting, and we've got enough high quality content for you guys that we don't need to do my like bad game analysis and like the less interesting good game analysis.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Basically, if you want to see Ezio die as Austria, you can go back and watch the previous season of Nexus, not of Nexus, sorry, the previous season of Olympus, our commentary on that. In this one, you were not playing Austria, you were playing as Turkey. And it's very important to note the format of these semi-final games in this. It follows the DBM format. So these are all top boards. Top board format means only the player who gets the most supply centers by the end of the game gets into the next round. Everyone else is out. It's made up for a little bit by giving you two chances at that. You get two semi-final games, and if you top either one of them, you go through. But this is Ezio's final chance to get into the finals because of that Austria game Ezio just mentioned, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. And as you can see, there's the names of everyone who's in this game. On the right hand side, there we have Barcades on France, Kavhas on England. We have YSM on Russia, Fear on or Fire. I'm not 100% sure how that's pronounced. On Italy, the Great King on Germany, Ezio on Turkey, and 11 me Johns on Austria. And the order that you see them here is the order that they pick their powers. So this is to do with the Paris method, which I think we've spoken about before. The order that you pick your powers is the reverse tiebreak order. So the people at the bottom of this list are going to have the best tiebreaks if at the end of the game multiple powers are tied on that top center count. So Austria has the best tiebreak, Turkey has the second best, so on and so forth. And the general order that people selected things here is roughly what you'd expect, I think, Ezio, right? Leaving Turkey and Austria until near last.
Yes, Turkey and Austria going at the end is exactly what you'd expect. There's a couple of things that are a little odd. Like I think Italy going four is a little odd, but I think it normally goes higher even. But it's fine. France goes first. This is very standard. Nothing too crazy.
Yes. And you would have had the choice between Turkey and Austria, I guess, where you were.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I
No, I went with
assume
Turkey.
you decided to choose you decided against Austria because of what happened previously. Uh,
Yeah, I remember I lost the game on Austria just before this. That was the game that it ended in the first semifinals, and I was not feeling great about it. Admittedly, I lost another game as Turkey earlier in the tournament as well, but that one was more removed. I also think that I just have a better chance at Turkey than I do as Austria, especially in these top board tape games. Turkey is just, as long as you're alive, you're always in it. And I'm like, well, who knows? I don't like either. Okay, these are definitely my two least favorite countries to get, Turkey or Austria. So I mean, I expect that. I think for most people that's the case, but I went with Turkey, and then I don't know, we'll figure it out.
yeah. I did want to quickly ask you here something that a lot of viewers will be familiar with, some might not be. Why is Turkey always left until the last two picks when it's seemingly such a good power when you're first starting playing out this when you're first starting out playing this game, right? It can dominate a lot of games very, very easily.
Yeah, it's a good question, and generally speaking, it's a meta decision, is I think the highest level analysis. Just right now, the current meta is that Austria, Italy, and Russia work together pretty closely to eliminate Turkey. And the three of them coordinate until Turkey is dead. Because high level players recognize that Turkey is quite strong, and if Turkey gets out of what we call the box, if Turkey gets onto like seven-ish centers, if they have like Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Sevastopol, even just like Bulgaria, Romania, Sevastopol, if they have those three extra centers in addition to their three home, Turkey can be an absolute menace and impossible to remove. And so they have decided it's easiest to simply deal with Turkey at the very start of the game. And so as Turkey, your first objective is to let that not happen. And then you might think that makes Austria a lot better, and it does make Austria better than it was in previous metas. Like if we go back to the early 2000s type stuff. But the Austria now has the downside of Italy just defaults to getting Trieste every game. And that just makes Austria's life terrible. And every Italy just assumes they're going to get Trieste, and so if you argue that they shouldn't get Trieste, it's like a big diplomatic hurdle to overcome now because every Italy is just like getting Trieste. And so Austria doesn't even benefit from this really anti-Turkey meta because Italy's just getting Trieste every time. And so, like, the only problem with Italy is that Italy doesn't get enough growth, and when Italy just gets Trieste, it's like, oh, I guess Italy does get enough growth now. I don't know. It's this current meta is very weird and warped, and I don't understand how the online scene got into this meta, but I can't break it alone because whatever. Point is,
is
I'm
this
Turkey
is
and I'm
this
not happy.
you putting out a call for people to stop to stop the current meta and like Austria's to go into Tyrolia, Trieste, Adriatic on the first turn, just go, no, Italy, you're not getting a Trieste. In fact, I'll take Venice. That seems.
I've definitely fantasized in my dreams about in a final game not taking Serbia in 01. And then I realized, oh no, that's absolutely terrible.
Mhm. Yes.
It's just so bad. I've thought of a thing that I could do where you need to tell Russia you're doing this, okay? Which is step one, scary. Then you need to get Russia to move their fleet Sevastopol into Romania, and then they can use their fleet Romania to tap Bulgaria. Because then Turkey can't take Serbia and Bulgaria, so Turkey's still only +1. And if you do that, then you can take Venice, and then you can put down an army, and then you can take Serbia back. Greece is still lost, by the way. But, anyways, this is no stop. We're getting way too distracted. No, no, no. This game, there's a lot to talk through, and I actually only got like 3.5 hours, so we gotta move.
All right, yes, let's get to this game specifically. As we can see, Italy is taking Trieste. This is probably agreed. Well, I imagine you can confirm or deny whether it's agreed, right? You probably heard of it. Um,
Um, yes. So, I just assumed it was agreed, and I think someone said it wasn't agreed, and I looked at the moves and I laughed. I
mm,
think, but there's a lot. Okay, there's a lot to talk about in the openings of this game that we should get into with like the negotiations pre opening moves, slash moves in 01 because this game gets off just to a really fast start. Um, so I am Turkey, and as I've talked about, Operation One is not get squashed in the early game. So easiest way to do that is to get a friend and to make a friend. And the easiest friend for Turkey to make OG was definitely Russia, and I kind of still think that it's Russia. I think that Austria and Turkey can work well together. It definitely happens. The two armies are a problem in the long term. It's scary, and if Austria isn't a lot of Austrians just aren't comfortable with it, and it's tough to tell if an Austria is going to be comfortable with a AT in the first phase because they'll usually say they are, even if they're not. And if you put too many eggs into that basket, it goes really poorly. That said, often you can get away with it anyways, and you can like claim you're doing both an AT and the Juggernaut until like a couple of years in, because you're just trying to survive. But that's neither here nor there. This game, the Austria wasn't the most communicative in the early game, like in the first phase, and Russia was much more communicative, and I had a great chat with Russia. So I'm like, all right, Russia, let's do this. Italy, obviously not on the table for the initial opening as the alliance, because just Italy, Turkey is like kind of a last resort alliance type thing. Um, but things are going well with Russia, and I'm sitting here saying, all right, you know what? Let's do the thing. Let's just go for a SevCon swap because I'm Turkey and I'm doomed anyways, so might as well go out in a fun way. Legitimately, that's a significant part of my thought. So the SevCon swap is an arrangement where Russia takes Constantinople with their fleet from Sevastopol, and Turkey takes Sevastopol with their army from Smyrna. From there, both units are actually quite effective because the army in Sevastopol for Turkey can go to Ukraine. It can be very useful against Austria because normally the Turkish army in Smyrna doesn't do much. At best, it like sits around in Armenia and Syria and covers against the Lepanto type thing, which it works, but it's not particularly great. And if you're trying to do an a Russia-Turkey alliance, then these units are much more effective. Furthermore, if you're doing a Turkey Russia alliance, then the fleet in the Black Sea is always a threat, and there's always just some tension around it. So, if Turkey and Russia can coordinate to get the Russian fleet out of the Black Sea quickly, then there's no more worries. That huge issue is gone. So it's an effective alliance that's fast, and then it leaves both people safe. Once it happens, you just sort of need um, you just sort of need Russia to not stab you when they do it.
Yeah. And to be fair, they don't have a huge amount of incentive to stab immediately, right? Because they're getting the dot anyway. The way they would stab you would be bouncing you out of Sevastopol, and if they do that, you kind of have the units to kick them back out again in this area. I'd still be concerned about it though, because even once they're in Constantinople, that's a dangerous place for a unit that's not yours to be, right? It's very central to your entire position. um,
Oh yeah, especially after you have this army in Bulgaria. So Constantinople kind of keeps everything connected.
mhm.
Uh, oh yeah, no, it's scary. And since my army's going to be in Armenia, right, retaking Constantinople even is going to be a pain. It's if there's a stab, it's pretty bad. But it doesn't actually get Russia anything, and it just solidifies me as an enemy. And so I don't think there's necessarily much incentive to stab in Sevastopol. But this is where some of the negotiations that are interesting because I had spoken with Italy about things because look, obviously Italy Turkey isn't a super common alliance, but it can happen. And um, if Turkey opens anti-Austria, that's obviously amazing for me, especially if I'm planning on doing this really fast, potent juggernaut alliance. So, I had
You
spoken to
mean,
Italy,
sorry,
and
if Italy opens anti-Austria? You said Turkey, but
yes, if Italy opens anti. Oh, well, sorry, yes. If Italy opens anti-Austria, then it's very good for me. So I spoke to Italy about it, and I said that I was doing moves that are anti-Russia. And you can claim that, like, I'm moving to Armenia for sure, and I'm going to be taking Sevastopol in year one, so I think that's pretty anti-Russia. It's the agreement that I have. Um, and then Italy's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to open to Tyrolia. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, the Italy's not going to be set up to convoy into Tunis, was what Italy said to me in spring of '01. And then we see the moves in spring of '01. And like, I mean, Italy clearly didn't do that. And Italy's obviously like, lol, well, Russia told me that you were doing an Armenian fist bump and that he was just going to stab you during doing the Armenian fist bump. And since he said that, then I wasn't gonna, uh, like, you obviously weren't gonna do anything anti-Russia, and so I was gonna do this, and like, you were just lying to me the whole time, so you can eat it.
hmm. So
And it's
specifically,
like,
Armenian
okay,
fist bump is when they bounce in Armenia, right?
Yeah.
Which, if they did indeed hear that from Russia, and you had told them that you were attacking Russia by going to Armenia, that does sound like you are trying to bluff Italy by saying, "Hey, I tried to attack Russia, but it didn't work." When you actually went to Russia and just agreed it all in the first place. Um, Obviously, that doesn't actually happen here. So whether they heard that from Russia at all seems a little bit questionable. But
Yeah, and then when they come and are like, "Well, you're just lying to me," instantly, and then they do very standard moves anyways, it makes me think that things are going to be rough negotiating with this Italy, and I can tell that immediately. Also, though, it means that things are not particularly solid between me and Russia now, are they? Given that Russia's like talking to Italy about what's going on. Um, that said, part of the strength of the SevCon swap is that you can pitch this as open war between Turkey and Russia, as it often is. And so you can frequently get other people to make suboptimal moves for themselves. Um, so get like for example, Italy, if they know that there is a juggernaut, if they know that Russia and Turkey are strong, Italy will basically never attack Austria. That's just not going to happen. But if Italy thinks that Russia and Turkey are weak, then you can get Italy to stab Austria. And so you can absolutely get positions where Italy stabs for Trieste in O1, and you can pitch to Italy ahead of time, hey, look, I'm gonna basically what Russia did exactly here. Of I'm gonna go to Black Sea and I'm gonna be fighting Turkey, but I don't want any help. I think let's go clean up Austria and Turkey simultaneously type thing. This rarely works because again, in the current meta, if Russia gets a strong position on Turkey like that, the current meta is to just say, "Oh, great, well, let's go all eliminate Turkey together," um, which would be really bad for me if I'm Turkey. Uh, but well, again, this game point is Russia's talking to Italy and is pitching an attack on me. Italy's pissed at me. Um, Italy's pissed at me, and Austria's just Austria. And I'm sitting here having agreed to, I think, the most risky Turkish opening you can do.
yeah, Turkey is not a power where you have that many risky openings. The biggest thing is always letting Russia into Black Sea. So yeah, good luck, I guess. I mean, it's better to have like made a plan and be trying to trust someone as Turkey than to just decide that you're at war with everyone, right? Because then you are just gonna die. So I'm I'm
Yeah.
hopeful, but it's a bit dangerous.
Well, for what it's worth, I stay committed to this plan. I see all these red flags. I'm worried. But you know what? Like, look, Russia doesn't gain a dot by bouncing Piatis Sevastopol, and that's really the only way that this goes wrong. It just really solidifies me as an enemy, and it gives all the power to other people. So why would Russia do that? Me, shall we go to the fall?
Alrighty, fall 1901. Oh god, they don't
Oh
like they give
dear.
up Romania to make this. Oh my god.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no.
Well,
Well, I guess this will be a quick one, guys.
mhm, that is.
That's I looked at this and I was just like, oh god. Well, like it was a miracle that I made it to the finals last season. I guess it's not happening this time. Uh
Oh
this
no.
this is just this is such a bad position. This is so unbelievably terrible.
Well,
Oh
okay,
man.
so positives. Russia only got one build. That is the end of the positives. The negatives, you have no builds. You have Russia and Constantinople. You have Italy and Austria very clearly working together. Oh god.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. There's fleets in Greece and Ionian, which is not great. Uh, Even Russia and Austria coordinating that move to Galicia looks like the two of them are on the same page. The West isn't doing anything that would apply pressure to any of the people that are going to be attacking me. I mean, maybe Russia's going to be under some pressure, right? The bounce in Sweden maybe means something. Maybe the West can get their act together and do some things. But nah, this one's done. Okay, this one's over. And I'm gonna make some moves. I'm gonna send out some press to people to be like, "Hey, please don't kill me." But honest to God, I look at this and it's over. Okay, it's done. we're so cooked. So we can look at the builds though, because there is a saving grace.
Okie dokie. Um, the Russian built in the north. Okay.
Fleet St. Pete North Coast.
North Coast.
And that there gives me some hope. Okay? If that was a fleet in Sevastopol, it's done. We can go we can go next. There is no more hope for me at all. But because of this, it's not actually guaranteed that I'm just going to explode, okay? There's a universe where like Italy goes to set up into Eastern Med for like a convoy into Syria, and they like don't tap Aegean and Bulgaria, and then I can like retake Constantinople, and then just lose Bulgaria, and then be in a little ball with Smyrna, Khan, and Ankara, but then like a fleet in Smyrna, and that's honestly a solid, stable defensive thing that can kind of hold out for a minute. Also, since Russia only has two armies and Austria is now up to three, especially if Austria gets an extra build or two around here, there's a solid chance that Austria is going to have a big stab on Russia, and that is a dream that I am hoping for, because that's how I can get back in this. Is this trio start stabbing each other preemptively, and it's always best if Austria is the one who does the stab, because then Russia can get on you, can get on your side, and then Italy can stab Austria, and then everything can work out. But Russia built in the north. To be clear, this is still the smallest glimmer of hope, because they really don't need the extra unit to screw with me that much. And if they coordinate well tactically, it's so completely over for me. Um, and I still don't really have anything, right? Like I can pitch to these people, hey, go stab each other. I'll support you into places. I'll do whatever. And none of these people are even bothering to message me much. Okay, they're just like, all right, fine. Italy's dead. Turkey's dead. Excuse me, Turkey's dead. We'll just. I am literally not getting much message back from anyone on the board. Everyone in the West hasn't sent me anything, because they just know, all right, Turkey's done. We don't. Why waste the cycles? Not worth our brain power. Let's great.
I do want to just mention I'd be quite annoyed as Austria if Italy takes Trieste from me and uses it to build Army Venice. That feels like I know we were saying that Italy getting Trieste by default is like a meta thing at this point, but I think it's generally still to either build a second fleet or send a fleet quickly into Turkey. Using it to build an army up north that threatens Austria is just like... Austria can't be happy about that, right? Maybe you can take advantage of that a little bit, but that does
Austria
seem to
was happy about it.
Austria
was perfectly fine with this. No,
Okay.
This Austrian player, I think the Austrian player was just pretty weak with regards to his Italian-Austrian alliance. It's sad to me because he mentioned to me that his previous game, the one that was before this, he lost as Austria while overly trusting Italy to let Italy walk all over him and stab him. And so I was like, oh, well, that's what a perfect setup for us working together and you not letting that happen again, because I'm cooked. I'm doomed here. Like, go deal with Italy, not me. And Austria like didn't seem to care very much. And look, I can't blame him that much in this position. Like, I mean, I can blame him actually. Like, the army in Venice is so bad for Austria. It's so bad. And Turkey is so weak right now, Turkey isn't going to be a threat to you. And together, the two of us can go. Like, this is one of the situations where, as Austria and Italy, you can't afford to fight each other because Russia and Turkey are so clearly at odds. And this war is actually relatively balanced. If Austria goes after Italy, then Turkey and Russia are going to fight for ages. And you'll be totally fine. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this was actually pretty bad from Austria to not turn around. But also, I say that as Turkey. Like,
yes, you definitely have a vested interest in Austria turning around. Although what you were saying just then about it's best for you if Austria goes and attacks Russia. I guess they're more likely to do that if they trust Italy a lot, right? So maybe
Oh,
that'll work out.
absolutely, yeah.
Also,
Yeah, and he pushed Italy a whole lot.
yeah. Also, I cannot understate how, like, I can't overstate even how much I hate this build right here. Fleet St. Petersburg North Coast. It, I could understand Army St. Petersburg here, and like, I get that you need to try and get something in here, but it was Germany who bounced Russia out of Sweden, right? Germany's already
Yeah, so
declared
I pissed off
intent.
England.
This is only anti-England. It locks in England against you, and now you've got two people against you, two fleets that can't coordinate, and the area that you're committed and could get centers from down here doesn't have the units on to get centers out of it, right? it's I mean, maybe they're gonna Andrew Goff this thing and somehow turn this into like stability in the north, but I can't
Believe it or
see that
not, most
happening.
people aren't Andrew Goff.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, trying to copy what Andrew Goff does is a bit of a trap, I think.
I think it's a solid rule that being three fleets and two armies as Russia is not good.
Mm,
I think that's a solid heuristic.
mhm. Yeah, the fleets are just too committal to one area. Although, saying that, I mean, Fleet Sevastopol here I would have been very happy with. Just
Yeah, it
because,
would have been
yeah.
okay. I think it would have been quite reasonable.
But that's because that can project power on some SCs that you have a chance of getting, right? This one really doesn't, I think. But anyway.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the concern about the fleet in the south is that it, I think, sets you up pretty clearly to be hostile with Austria and Italy after Turkey is gone.
Mm,
Normally, with the air, the Austria, Italy, Russia alliance against Turkey, like Russia's going to get Romania and Ankara, like the. I mean, Romania and Russia usually gets, but then Ankara is usually the one that it gets, and it's rare for Russia to get much more than that. Maybe also Constantinople, but with two fleets, because one fleet with Russia, they sit in the Black Sea and they're content with that, and they like still project power in the area, but they don't need to grow much beyond it. If Russia has two fleets in the south, with Black Sea and another one, then that fleet maybe it just sits in Constantinople, but then it's always threatening Aegean. It's always going to be annoying to them. And so it does actually increase tension significantly with the other people in the south. So, like in a post-Turkey world, it can be problematic, and because of that, Austria will often want to stab you because you have this extra strength, and you're going to be contesting extra lots, like Constantinople, which is often Austrian, and you have this fleet instead of an army, so you're less able to defend yourself. That said, I think in this case the fleet stuff would have been very reasonable because you're gonna try to take something, and then shit, maybe you can leave it in Constantinople and get it popped or something. Um, I think it would have been very reasonable to put a fleet instead of here. I agree.
mm. All right.
Better to fleet
Anyway.
St. Pete North Coast. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about things that Russia could have done to kill me better than they already did. Because again, I look incredibly cooked.
Mm,
Uh,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
I realized we also completely forgot to mention this. What's the end year of this game?
It's end game ending in 1910. Yeah, this is an end
Okay.
date game. This is not untimed.
Well, good luck surviving 10 years in this position, I guess. This is.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse.
All right,
The
shall
spring,
we?
shall we?
Let's go to Spring '02. Uh, I mean, you haven't been knocked out of Bulgaria, I guess, but I
Yeah,
see a
but I did get
Jin.
knocked out of Aegean.
Hmm. That's
And I still
not.
don't have Constantinople. Oh no.
Okay.
So these are the tactics that I did, and I'm actually very happy that their tactics were not, I think, quite perfect here. Constantinople not bouncing me out of Ankara is absolutely massive because this means I have guesses to stay alive, which is important. That's all I can ever ask for. So the tactics that I'm terrified that they choose to do would be Aegean supports Constantinople to Smyrna, and Greece supports Serbia to Bulgaria type stuff. Or like they double just any number of bad things that involve the Aegean supporting Constantinople down to Smyrna. Um, there's I can stop that with Ankara support hold Smyrna, um, because that's like the only counter to it. Um, but then it's still all scary, and because if they do that, then I just can't get anything. Okay, it's all really bad guesswork. I've got 3 units that are two of them are kind of close. Smyrna can't support hold Ankara. I can do stuff with Constantinople, but this fleet in Aegean can only be cut from Smyrna. It's just all bad. Okay, these tactics are terrible.
Hmm. Yeah. I I mean, it seems quite likely that you're going to end up on 2 units if that Bulgaria unit gets popped here, and like, I think there's a pretty high chance that that happens.
Yeah,
Hopefully you can save it, but it's really tough to. Hmm.
and there's the army in Sevastopol, which is heading down to Armenia. So even if I manage to stay alive on whatever 2 or 3, if like I get all the guesses right, it's still going to be in Armenia, so I'm still dead.
Hmm. Yeah. And we can kind of see that they're trying to solidify a triple in like properly here and even go for the west. I assume that was the reasoning for Fleet St. Petersburg North Coast. Like, we're gonna go and hit the Westerners as hard as we can.
We're gonna push
Here.
super fast, yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll notice that the way that Italy does this, Italy takes from Venice, not Trieste.
Yes. That
And
that
it's
screams to
and
Austria that they're going
it's
to
just
attack.
it should be alarm bells to Austria dramatically. That even if Italy isn't gonna stab you this phase, that Italy explicitly intends to leave them in positions to stab you because they want the option to do that.
Hmm. Yes.
That's just terrifying. That's not good. As Italy, you cannot let them do that. If they do that, you need to change your approach. Like you can't you can't. Um,
Yeah. Austria basically. I think in this position as Austria, I actually just pull both my units back to Vienna and Budapest, because if Italy just chooses to move into Vienna and Budapest, this is so crippling. Like, even on this turn.
oh, I mean your game's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, your game's just done.
Mm. And with Turkey in such a terrible spot, I think Italy is pretty incentivized to do this. Like, they're not gonna fight some massive resistance if they just walk into everything. There's not
Yeah,
enough
there's a
units
slightly
around to
different
do
tactic.
it.
Yeah, there's a slightly different tactic you can do, where you can have Serbia tap Trieste and Bohemia tap Vienna. Because then if Trieste takes Budapest, then you at least get to backfill Trieste.
Yes.
And then you can still use Romania and Greece to like take Bulgaria or something. But you'll notice, me, you just mentioned taking Vienna and Budapest. Turkey can also convoy into Greece.
Well, as in Italy can, yeah. This is
Italy, yes, Italy. Sorry, Italy can convoy. Actually, well,
it would be
funnily
wishful
enough,
thinking to ask Italy to convoy you to Greece.
yeah, Italy could just support me to
Well,
Greece. That'd be also
yeah.
very funny. But yes, so like Italy has this ridiculously massive stab on Austria here, and look, you can trust an ally, and that makes sense. But there are
Hmm.
ways to trust an ally where the ally is making moves that like show they deserve any of that trust, and it's unclear that Italy does. But hey, whatever. Like this is where I am, and I'm hoping that Italy stabs that while I'm not like literally dead. But let's just again this phase. There's still not much negotiation happening. Okay, we're not in this game for the early game. We're like this game. Let's go to the fall. Okay, like
Alrighty.
there's analysis to do. There's gonna be stuff to talk about later. But this is not an early game.
Oh boy. Alright. Well, huh. I'm not
Yeah.
sure whether Italy stabbed or not. You are absolutely correct that Austria has this method of defending, and that worked out fine. But it's so perfect, it's almost like maybe that was all
Uh,
arranged.
uh, Absolutely, it all looks arranged. How convenient! Because the way that if I was expecting them to be fighting, I would expect Trieste to tap Budapest, not to simply support Tyrolia into Vienna.
Hmm.
That is a much more punishing position for Italy. If Italy gets into Budapest, even if there's like there's no guarantee there's a bounce in Vienna. You could get both instead of just limiting your gains to only one, which is bad tactically. And then even if you do get it, you want there to be as few spots for builds as possible. You want it to be tight. And then if you're in Budapest, then the Austrian position gets just crumbles. It can't hold. And so you can then get like you get your 2 or 3 builds. In this case, actually only one build because you only get the Greece unit. But also, you would probably expect the GM to support Tunis into Greece because if Italy is attacking Austria, you would assume that they wouldn't help Turkey stay alive, but whatever they did. And you'll notice I got the guess wrong. I supported Smyrna to hold instead of supporting Bulgaria back to Constantinople.
Yeah.
So I misguessed 2 units. We got a hostile unit in Khan and Armenia. We got a hostile fleet in Aegean and Bulgaria. I mean, look, I've lost games before. I've lost games before. Sometimes the AAR is tight and you lose. Okay?
Well,
Okay.
this is pretty horrendous. Down to just 2 units and completely surrounded, and the other side don't show any signs of breaking, really.
Yeah, and Russia even got a build in the north from
Yeah.
Norway. So even though Russia had to give up Romania, which is the thing that often causes trouble, Russia gets a build, so Russia's going to be safe. I just hope it's not fleet instead again.
Also, way to like make my criticisms completely irrelevant here. Managing to pick up that build here is absolutely incredible. Flipping the German to their side in order to do it, because my assumption was
After walking into Silesia, by the way.
Yeah. This is insane. I assume that Germany did this basically as a, if I do this, can you get off my back in this area, right? Because I'm never
like
gonna
don't
be
support
able to
them
grow.
into Munich. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, well done to Russia on that one. And obviously not something that you'll be wanting to see here.
I mean, look, I want to die. I'm already dead. I got what I want. Okay, so let's look at the winter of 02.
Okay.
Um,
Power rankings turn.
oh, power rankings. Oh yeah, I made it to a power rankings as Turkey.
I will go ahead and
All right.
start off by doing that.
Yeah, I assume I know what you're talking about. Oh, hey, look at that. Where'd Ezio go?
Yeah.
Very sad.
Well, you're not
Okay,
off
so
yet, but like you're certainly not.
yeah. Look, you can still see the E. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So what else do we got? So for power rankings, I think France is in first because France is France.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. Italy being this strong is a little bad for France, but they're clearly very focused east, so not too
Yeah,
bad.
but it's in Italy who's exactly. They're in Aegean. They got a bunch of armies in Tyrolia and Trieste in Greece. There's really no indication. Like this one fleet in Naples maybe can go west actually, because there's not need for any more fleets. Like Aegean and Ionian, these 2 fleets are going to be in control of Eastern Med and Aegean Sea. There's not even the Austrian fleet in Greece to threaten moving into Ionian because that fleet has been put nicely in Bulgaria to keep Italy perfectly safe from any potential ramifications. And so there's potential risk, but even still, England's down to 3 with a hostile Germany and Russia in the north. And so even if France gets attacked by Italy, there's no threat there. I don't like the army build in Marseille. I would much prefer a fleet in Marseille that just heads to Spain to stay safe, because I just think it's better than that army because the way that France is set up, France already has enough armies. But it doesn't matter. It's still France. France is still in great shape. Like France is super safe. I do think Italy is second. I could see Italy being above France, but I think that I don't know. Italy is just harder than France, so I put Italy above. I could see Italy above France, honestly. This is such a good Italian
I
position. I just feel like Austria is going to do something against Italy at some point, right? Surely.
Yeah, I think the big thing that makes me think that France should be above Italy here is just England's position, right down to 3. They take their army off, so the French. It would be better if France had 3 fleets, but the French convoy onto their land, if the French ever get it off, is going to be completely devastating, and England won't be able to retaliate to that very well, right? And I just don't see where
Absolutely.
England gets the builds to
Yeah,
stop
and
anything.
having the extra army makes that convoy a lot safer. You don't have to worry
Mhm.
about Burgundy being forced. Like you can have this a pretty solid line, anyways. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the upset for the army. Okay. By the way, second to last, I think England.
Yep, I would agree that. The, the English position is pretty terrible, getting knocked out of Norway. It looks alright at the start. It looked like they were solidly aligned with Germany, but clearly Germany has now flipped. And interestingly, I think if Germany hadn't flipped on England, Germany might be lower down because of this whole like Austria, Italy, Russia thing. But I'm assuming that
Yes.
Russia and Germany have some kind of alliance now, so that might raise Germany up a bit. Um,
Yeah. This the next three that we put are the three like Central Eastern powers. Given that Turkey's basically out of it, Austria, Russia, and Germany have a bunch to work through. Right? The armies in Silesia and Bohemia. If any two of that if two of them work together closely, it's fine. Germany has a tougher time with this, obviously, because of the four French armies. The armies in Belgium and Burgundy are going to be putting pressure on Germany, so Germany's not free to just send units everywhere. But it's not like Germany's unable to send units anywhere. Um, about a little bit, because again, out of those 3 units on Munich in the east, right? That's not a good position for Germany to be in, especially in O2. So
mhm.
Germany needs to see the Austria, Italy, Russia break up for Germany's position to be playable. And I mean, they've worked together to eliminate me pretty effectively. Um, but I think it's fair to expect them to break up. I don't think the three of them will be able to stay allied.
So, what does that mean for Germany's positioning here? Do you think it goes above Russia or Austria? Or.
Well, the way that the East breaks, right, is really tough because I would expect a wintergreen here. I would expect Russia and Italy to
Mhm.
work to first eliminate me, right? That'll take a year, maybe two. Nah, who am I kidding? It'll take a year to
1 year,
eliminate
yeah,
me. Yeah,
yeah.
it'll Ankara. They take Ankara from Constantinople or whatever. You put yourself in Eastern Med, and then Smyrna's dead. So I'll be dead end of this year, and then from that position, I think Austria will get collapsed on between Russia and Italy. So I would
Hmm.
expect Austria's position to be the worst. Austria's kind of got to make a move right now. Um, and so yeah, I think I would put Germany above the other two,
Okay. And Russia
and I think
above
if they start
Austria if
fighting,
you think that it's going to be a wintergreen.
yeah,
Um,
I think so.
I could see Austria coming out on top on this if they get a good stab off on Russia here, but that leaves them so open to Italy at the same time. It's tough to say exactly how they should do that. So I think this
Yeah,
is
and
a good
Italy's
ranking.
kept their army in Trieste. If Italy had moved, if you go back to the 2 phases ago when Italy moved into Tyrolia from Venice instead of from Trieste, that's what caused this whole thing. If Italy had just moved into Tyrolia from Trieste, then there would it was 2 phases back, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
Austria actually has freedom and flexibility and can afford to move into Russia. But because of this army in Trieste, if Austria wants to move away this phase, they have to keep it super clandestine, and so they can't let Italy know what's going on. And even if Italy doesn't know what's going on, Italy still might decide to just attack anyways. I think the straight up attack would be crazy, but you can't coordinate something on Constantinople or whatever.
Mhm.
And then if you move away, unless you're 100% sure that Italy is walking out and leaving Trieste alone, after Italy sees you attack Russia, they're probably just going to walk into your centers behind you if they have the ability to do so. And so it's one of those things where, as Austria, I don't know if I would feel comfortable attacking Russia until I've seen Italy walk away. But Italy doesn't want to walk away, so yeah,
Yep. Um, it's gonna
yeah.
be
I don't like
interesting.
Austria's position very much. It's a sad problem with the 5 center Austria. It's the nature of the thing. Did we do things where we just did a dot order again and we do the thing? All right. How do you feel about power rankings, Captain Meme?
Yeah, I think
You think that's good?
that seems pretty good to me. Yep. I think that there is some chance you survive beyond this year with good guesswork, right? Even if these three stick together. It's like the best way I see to attack you is Constantinople getting supported into Ankara, and then they have to backfill Constantinople to come and. No, they don't even have to do that, do they? Because they can still support in with Armenia. So if they cut here, then yeah, you are just guaranteed dead. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing this year, and hopefully this will be a longer video than 30 minutes.
Let's go look at Spring of '03.
All right, I am now like wondering why you wanted to commentate this game looking at this, but hey, we'll see.
Well,
All right.
first of all, they don't do the optimal tactics.
Mm.
I don't know exactly why they do this. I don't know why Russia agrees to this, I should say. Because Russia, rather than taking Ankara and popping the army, which was practically guaranteed, instead, Russia supports Aegean into Smyrna, which works. It does get Italy into Smyrna, but it means that I still have 2 units here. And I can tell why Italy wanted this to happen, because it meant that Russia didn't get any units, isn't in a good position here, and so Austria is able to stab Russia.
Hmm.
And so Austria goes for this very aggressive, very extending line by walking into Galicia and Ukraine. And Italy thought, oh, they tried so hard to get into Piedmont. They tried so hard. Oh, and it's so sad
It's like,
that,
it, it's
yeah.
incredible how these French players are always mind readers with Italian attacks, right? They can always tell exactly where things are coming from just enough to bounce all the units back and keep Italy in a position to attack on the other side.
Oh God, it's so common how this happens with just Piedmont, and it's always Piedmont. Just so we're clear, right? It's this one spot, and sometimes, honestly, sometimes it even is mind reading. Sometimes just it's really easy to guess and predict. Although I will point out, France built an army in Marseille. Where was it going? There was no world where this army in Tyrolia ever gets to Piedmont, and also, of course, they agreed on it. And so, for Austria to make this is ridiculously extending. Like, Italy can absolutely just eliminate Austria in this position, and there's nothing that Austria can do about it. But Austria did get the jump on Russia. And for me, this is the opening I needed. One phase of bad tactics from the Austria, Italy, Russia. One phase of bad tactics, and their alliance breaking up. So I still have 2 units. I'm still in Constantinople. Russia's in Black Sea, and I'm still worried. Notably, there's a very real world where Russia's like, I mean, look, I'm in terrible position as Russia because Russia like sent their army in Moscow north, and they're collapsing. But maybe they're gonna like Silesia to Warsaw, St. Petersburg to Moscow, and then like use Black Sea to support Armenia into Ankara to just finish the job anyways.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly plausible that Russia like gets a build they can get from Ankara with their 2 units. They'll have position on Constantinople later. They'll still have their fleet in the Black Sea. They kept Norway on, I notice, which is something that I would not have done here. I think in this position as Russia, if I see the stab coming in from Austria, I'm popping this fleet immediately. I want to maximize the chance I can rebuild armies at home to stay alive, but neither here nor there. From my perspective as Turkey, I got a hope, okay, and so then there's a chance that I just make it out of this alive, if I can get Russia to flip, and so we'll talk about that later, because the first thing that I went to Austria was like, yo, Austria, even if Turkey doesn't stab you now, and like
If Italy doesn't.
Israel might stab you now, Italy, assuming Italy doesn't stab you right now, and Italy's got every reason to stab you, um, you need to do a better job at making negotiations with Italy in the future. Because this is, you can't keep giving him opportunities like this. I know that he hasn't taken them yet, but he's going to take it at some point. I promise you, you can't keep doing this. It's gonna lose me the game, and I don't want that to happen. So please don't do that. And then Austria's like, yeah, whatever. I'm only doing this because you're so weak. I'm like forced to give Turkey ridiculously favorable, Italy,
Yep.
ridiculously favorable deals because otherwise he's just gonna kill me, and like this is all your fault. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's some truth to that.
I did want to ask, did Austria give you a heads up about this? Because they support your unit into Constantinople, right? Was that arranged?
Probably. I think so. I was friendly with Austria this whole time because I need Austria to flip or else I'm dead. I didn't know that Austria was attacking Russia here. that part I think I was in the dark about, but I did ask for support into Constantinople, and he was okay with it.
Man, the more
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Austrian stab, I mean, I said Austria kind of needs to go in on Russia, right, to stop a wintergreen from happening. But
Mm-hmm.
this gets 1 dot maximum, I think, because Russia can
Um.
cover everything. And you've got to
Yeah.
keep these centers here covered at the same time against the Black Sea Fleet. It it feels painful. I don't know how they could have done better. They don't really have a better attack. Maybe walking into Sevastopol instead of Ukraine, but even then, feels like it only gets them one. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of this is risking Vienna, Budapest, and Serbia, and
Yep.
Bulgaria.
All right. Well,
But
I'll throw it
you
back
got to
over to
take
you.
risks. So about like 10 minutes before the phase, which I discovered has been the best time to interact with this Russian player, I sent Russia this message saying, "Yo, wanna throw a spanner in the works and mess with Austria and Italy?" And Russia's like, "Sure." And I'm like, "You wanna toss a support hold on Constantinople and support Ankara to Smyrna?" And then Russia's like, "Sure, fine, whatever. Screw these guys." And I'm like, okay, well, I really hope that you don't just like walk into Sevastopol and everything, and I hope I don't you don't necessarily die from this, but also I have no love for you after you blew me up with the Sevcon swap. Um, and so let's see, like, let me see if I can like go for this. And like I was dead anyways. Anything is better than that. So let's live the dream, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And oh my god, their tactics are terrible.
What, should I go through to the next phase?
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We did
Okay.
it. But we get it. So
Mm.
point. So Russia flipping completely caught them off guard. I don't know why it caught them so off guard, but it caught them completely off guard. And so I keep Constantinople. I retake Smyrna, and I'm +1. And Ankara is open for a build. It's a
That's
Christmas miracle. And then, as the map shows, as you can see in the thing, there's that little X over the Italian fleet in Smyrna. Because Italy committed really hard against France with this fleet in Leonian and with the fleet in the Gulf of Leon, and then the army in Tyrolia into Piedmont. Trieste backed out, so there is going to be an Austro-Russian war. That's going to happen. There's no like Italian stab. I don't really like Italy keeping this army in Greece and forcing Austria to bounce in Serbia. It's amazing news for me because it means that Austria wasn't able to completely crush Russia, and given that Russia just um, gave me everything back in this game, I have stuff to play for now. I'm Turkey back on 3 dots in 03. It's amazing. I've got a Russian ally. Austria and Russia are at war, and Italy isn't fighting that hard in the east. Italy only has one fleet now, and they popped their other one. They're probably going to put another fleet down to go to the west.
mm.
What?
This is kind of an absurd turn of events. Yeah. Wow. We'll also
Oh, how the turntables.
I will also say this game has been constantly catching me off guard in terms of making me look stupid with my commentary because A, Russia manages to get back into Norway again, so this fleet pays off for them once again.
How? That's
Don't.
insane. No, fuck, no way, no way, no way. That fleet, that's ridiculous. Also, I said to pop the fleet. I also said it. Yeah, no.
And
Russia didn't cover Moscow, didn't cover St. Petersburg. Austria went for the guaranteed line on Warsaw and got it, but
yeah.
didn't get anything else. This annoying tap in Serbia was quite frustrating. I think even for like the alliance, like Austria, Italy would have much preferred if Austria just gone for more dots, and then let Italy take Serbia. But again, for me as Turkey, I'm ecstatic, given that I've got a Russian ally and
Mm.
Russia's now strong and maybe can fight back against stuff.
Yeah, and I also want to say the other thing that's making my commentary look a bit stupid is the fact that Italy didn't stab. They actually genuinely did go for France. I thought that was a fake out attempt. Maybe France thought that too. Maybe they did tip France off as to Piedmont on the previous turn. I assume they did. And then on this turn said, hey, it's fine, I'm going for Austria, and then went all in on France. But it's kind of justifying Austria's opinion of trusting Italy, I think, right? Italy, despite having moved Venice to Tyrolia earlier, despite having built Venice in the first place, they do seem to be being trustworthy.
They do seem to be that. Although Russia at this point told me something quite interesting. Russia had negotiated with Italy that Italy was going to stab Austria. Russia, the reason why Russia stabbed me back in '01 was that they'd agreed basically to just wintergreen, and Italy had made fantastic promises to Russia about the way this alliance would work. Part of that included that they were going to clean me up together, and then they were going to collapse Austria together. And if Austria made a move earlier, then Italy was going to stab Austria. That was part of the deal that Italy made with Russia. So despite Austria being the one who is attacking Russia the most right now, Russia is incredibly pissed at Italy as well. I don't know if Russia's more pissed at Italy than Austria, and I kind of think they are. So despite Italy not doing any direct damage, they are pissed. That is good to know. Useful for information for later. Just lock that in your memory banks. People pissed at Italy. Currently two. Me and Russia. Me for obvious reasons. I'm less pissed with this fleet disband. Part of the agreement for this, by the way, was that I had to build an army. I couldn't build a fleet. I was probably going to build an army anyways because, if the fleet retreats to Eastern, I have to build an army, and even if not, I don't know. I know I like being a fleet-based Turkey power, but
fleet anchor is just not it, right? Especially in this.
It just goes to Black Sea.
It's stuck.
If Russia disbands the Black Sea, then I could see the argument for it, where I could then build a fleet anchor, put it in the Black Sea, and start doing some things. But Italy doesn't want to see that. Italy wants to see Turkey on 0 fleets ever. So whatever. Oh, Italy agreed that they were going to disband this fleet in Smyrna, and maybe we can start working together. Maybe we can have the worst Austria, Italy, Turkey alliance I've ever seen. But hey, anything that keeps me in the game is incredible, and I am again Turkey on 3 centers, their home 3 centers. In '03, that's a playable position. Doesn't matter what else the map looks like. This game is great.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very playable with with other people in Armenia, Black Sea, Bulgaria, and Aegean Sea. But in this case, yes, it actually is looking playable because those players aren't all allied.
They're all hostile to each other, and Russia's got some disbands. Russia's down to just their 4 starting centers. And Russia previously had 6 units.
No, they've got Norway as well.
Oh, they got Norway back. Sorry, they only have 1 disband. And so let's... okay, West, by the way, the West is just absolutely useless. France has had amazing opportunities to attack England this whole time. But I think France, is trying to mitigate power level or something. This past phase, for example, having English Channel tap North Sea, I just despise that tactic. I think as France, you should almost always convoy to London in this context, or try to take London, because North Sea is the only unit that can cover London. And so by attacking London, you kind of force the North Sea to cover London, and if North Sea doesn't cover London, then you get London, and then Russia doesn't take Norway. Oh, well, too bad, so sad. England's still not building because you denied them. So here, I think, unless you're explicitly doing it to stay weak, you should take London here. And I kind of think you should take London anyways, even if you're trying to stay weak, because it's just good. You can build to replace it immediately, I don't know. But France didn't do that, so the Italian attack has some teeth. The Italian is guaranteed to take Marseille if they want it, and Italy is able to build a fleet in the West anyways. So, I don't know, does Italy get to hold Marseille? I think, depending on how much France is able to commit to defend, maybe Italy does actually get to hold it if France is a little tied down elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also wanted to mention, I think your logic here makes a lot of sense. Going for London is basically equivalent to tapping North Sea, except it's got more of an upside for France. My first instinct on looking at a situation like this would actually be to convoy to Wales, because I think that the English would expect the convoy to London. But that would have been hard countered here by what England did, and that's why England did this, I assume, to block the less obvious attack against them. So
Yeah, and if you convoy to Wales, then England has the upside of also keeping Norway, and then can build in London, and you would be completely cooked.
yeah, fair. I mean, England actually gets a build here anyway because they take Norway off,
Yes.
right? So France
Yeah.
is not in a great spot. But yeah,
But maybe France talked about this with England or something. I don't know exactly. The West's communications and
there's
negotiations were
no
so
shot that this is agreed between France and England, the tapping on North Sea and letting Russia back into
yeah, probably
Norway.
not. Probably not. Hey, I
Hmm.
mean, hey, I'll go to North Sea. You can go to Skagerrak or something. Everything will be okay. I don't know.
All right. Well, shall we go ahead to the winter?
I think so. I think the winter is important.
All right. Winter 1903. Where's the important parts of the winter, Ezio?
Huh? What do you mean the important parts of the winter?
Well, okay. I'm saying, is there anything particularly relevant that happened in the press here, or is it just looking
Oh,
cool?
well, I'd already made the deal with Italy, right? I had to build the army.
Hmm.
Austria was going to build. I wasn't going to convince them to wave. It was talking to Russia. I was trying to figure out what's Russia going to be doing. And as Turkey, this is one of the few times I was like, hey, Russia, please keep your fleet in Black Sea on. Most of the time, Turkey doesn't want Russia to keep that fleet in the Black Sea. But in this context, we are friendly enough that I think it's absolutely critical that Russia has this fleet in the Black Sea. Um, Part of the negotiations at this point, Austria and Italy are saying they're not going to kill me because they're focused on Russia. And I think this is because I've done such a good job keeping Austria friendly with me, as Austria doesn't want to kill me. That said, Italy has told me explicitly there is no universe where he attacks Austria here. Absolutely not even a little bit. And so don't even try to think about getting him to attack Austria. And so his fleet in the Aegean is just going to sit there menacingly. This is a very effective way to keep Turkey in the box. That's fine. I'm not dead. I'm playing at this point because the fall of O2 was so ridiculous that it completely turned the game around, and I'm playing with the house money. I should be dead, and I'm not. And this is a great way to look at the game because I can do whatever I want.
Hmm.
Truly, whatever I want. I've already lost, right? This game is over. It was done, but I'm back. I have been given a second, a second shot at life. Um, and you know all those like the inspirational comments, the movies and the stuff. Like, what would you do if you were given a second chance to live your same life again? That's me. That's this game. It's so liberating. It's truly wonderful. Obviously, my position is not strong.
Mhm.
To be clear, there is still the Italian fleet in Aegean. There is still a very strong Italy-Austrian alliance. My ally in Russia is on 4 centers.
Mhm.
This is not a good position, but it's not doomed.
Mhm.
Uh, and everyone of my all of my neighbors claim they're not going to kill me. And for once, I actually kind of believe them. I think Italy's got stuff to do in the West. I think that Austria and Russia are fighting in the East, and both of them have reason to want me on side because I can potentially flip things. So I think they actually might keep me around. To Austria, though, I am telling Austria, hey, you got to find a way to get Italy to convoy that army from Greece out, or have it start walking up to Albania to Trieste to Venice. It needs to get out of there. As long as that army is in Greece, you're going to have a problem in the long run. You can't let it stay there. And Austria basically just ignores me. Like, Austria responds, but I can tell it didn't land. My hope was that it would be via convoy, and then Italy would send Naples to Tyrrhenian Sea, that at some point Aegean heads to Ionian to convoy Greece out, which would be great. I would be very happy about that. But uh, that doesn't happen anytime soon. And Austria doesn't seem receptive to it, despite I think it being pretty clearly correct. Just Bulgaria is not under any threat anytime soon. Aegean can keep it safe, and the army in Greece is mostly just a dagger pointed towards Serbia or Bulgaria at some point, right? It's an army. That's
Yeah.
the only those are the only places it can go that are relevant. It needs to get out of there. But Austria lost last game to an Italian stab. guess it's going to happen again this game, just a matter of when. Maybe France crushes Italy in the West, but that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I can anticipate that happening, and I just need to be in strong enough position to outlast it when it does. And currently, no one's attacking me, so I can outlast everything.
Hmm.
I think we can go to the spring captain game.
All right, let's go to the spring then. See how you handle this situation. You handle it by doing, well, not or nothing. You go to Armenia, right?
I do go to Armenia,
I see.
and Italy gets out of Aegean.
Wow. Wow, that's really good.
It's a Christmas miracle. It's so good. And then Russia walks out of Armenia back up to Sevastopol, supports themselves up, which just makes it work. Meanwhile, there's nice tactics around Warsaw, and it looks like Germany is set up to take Warsaw. Given that it was Austrian, I forget how much I forget how much coordination there was. I think there was a lot of coordination, and so it's a fun tactical guess around like Moscow and whatever. But Germany notably was set up to take Norway and Warsaw here. But England moves into Helgoland Bight and North Sea. France moves into Burgundy, but that's almost certainly just to deal with Marseille. The way that France handled the defense actually is very nice tactically. I think a lot of people's instincts would be to send Mid-Atlantic Ocean to Spain, just as their first instinct. They get the fleets down south. But by getting it into Western Med like this and putting the army in Spain, then France is actually able to guarantee the recapture of Marseille.
Yep.
Munich is empty to make it truly guaranteed. You can have Western Med tap Gulf of Leon, then you can double support Spain to Marseille, and then you can cover Spain even, so you don't have to worry about losing Spain.
Yeah.
And because of this move to Western Med, Italy was forced to back out of Aegean Sea after telling me explicitly there's no universe in a million years he was backing out of Aegean. And there's no way he's ever going to attack Austria. And it's like, okay, well, hey, I'm happy with this. I'm alive. I'm not dying anytime soon. The number of hostile units around me has decreased to 0, question mark. It's 0 or 4, depending on how you look at it.
All right. I mean, it's a better fall than it was before.
I consider it 0. Honestly, none of these units are doing anything. Look, Bulgaria is supporting Constantinople to hold. What a nice unit. What a friend. What a bro. That's great. Black Sea, it's pulling out. It's covering Sevastopol, and it's going to be fighting for Romania and stuff. So what a bro. What a friend. This is wonderful. Yeah, I mean...
this is the time where you just sort of sit there and go, I'm not here. I'm just going to be friendly to everyone and hope you guys fight it out until I can get out of here, right? But until then, I'm going to be quiet as a mouse and not get involved. Is that...
Oh, that's not even a little bit my style. No, I'm pretty sure I asked for support to Sevastopol.
From Austria, or I assume so.
Austria.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I'm like... I think my army in Armenia is the difference maker, right? Between Sevastopol or not, right?
It could well be.
And so, exactly. And so the tactics that I pitch to Russia are, hey, Russia, you should take Moscow from Sevastopol, have Warsaw cut Ukraine, make it guaranteed, and then support me into Sevastopol. Hey, Austria, you should do some different tactical line and support me into Sevastopol.
Are they not going to like both see that they each supported you in Sevastopol and then go, hey,
I don't think it matters if they do. I think even if they do both see me as support Sevastopol, it's like, oh yes, that's really smart. He waited in such a fashion where the other person did the thing that made my tactics work, and now he's in Sevastopol. That's just where I want him. Wow, isn't that great?
Very, very good. All right, well, I hope it works out for you. Is there anything else you want to talk about here before we go to see whether it does?
I think then that sounds about right then. So we can go look at Fall of 04.
All right, let's look at Fall 04 then. And you do get into Sevastopol. You don't get any support from Russia, but the Austrian.
Yeah, as I said, maybe I gave Russia the Lions for Black. I originally was like, support me up there. If you don't get out, then it's like this. But then I thought actually tapping is probably better because then, Like, ostensibly, I'm moving to Armenia to cover it against Austria moving up there, right? And then I told them, like, well, look, even if Austria doesn't move up there and I end up in there, it's still a friendly unit that's going to potentially be useful against Austria. So it's better to have units there, even if we both hold. You'd rather have this happen. So do this. This is great. And then Russia's like, yeah, that seems fine. He still taps Romania, so this was in case Romania supported Moscow down to Sevastopol. That wouldn't get countered.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that didn't happen. And then Austria just went to cover Warsaw from Germany, which is totally reasonable. So Austria did not net any dots this phase, which is pretty great. Russia only lost one to Sevastopol. Also Norway, excuse me. Russia
Yeah,
lost. Russia
one or
lost two this phase.
Mm.
Yeah, it's to an army in Norway, which is kind of sad. Meanwhile, however, England gained one from Holland, and Germany gained from Norway. So England went from 3 to 4. Very impressive. Turkey went from 3 to 4. Very impressive.
That's the only changes.
France stayed on 6. Italy stayed on 6. Russia went down 2.
Amazing.
Oh, we're so bad. And these are the messages. England and I were having meetings with each other. I'm being friendly. Like, we're both underdogs. I was telling everyone how I was feeling this game. It was like, well, I was supposed to be dead. My position's cooked anyways. But let's go have some play. Let's have some fun. And so this was amazing. And so England and I are both so back. And so other things. You'll notice the tactics in the West. France did go for the ways to guarantee the recapture of Marseille. And Italy notably played in a slightly odd manner. Because you could expect what France was going to do. Right? If France does the guaranteed tactics. These moves don't beat the guaranteed tactics, but I guess Italy just did what Italy wanted anyways. And then their army gets popped.
I mean, there's no move that beats the guaranteed tactics, right? That's why it's the
guaranteed that's why it's the guaranteed tactics. But then the question is, why even bother? Why really try? Like, you could have sent Piedmont back to Venice, for example. Like, I don't know. But Italy kept in Piedmont. Italy did moves. Plus, like, there's arguments. The point is, it's the relevant tactics. Look in the West. And then, as I mentioned, England gained one because England and France both coordinated against Germany and Holland. And so, despite Germany's position seeming pretty solid and Germany extending into the east against Russia, / Austria. Austria controlled Warsaw, but it's still kind of Russia. They got punished for this, and so they're not going to be building, which is quite nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting spot in the West, because I could see this being like a pseudo-Western triple. You'll note that Germany didn't even bother trying to defend anything from England, right? They're like, if you're going to take it, just do, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there were... I realize that's surprising to me. I mean, Kiel needed to cover Munich, because Austria was going for Munich, given the hostility around Warsaw.
Mm-hmm.
So that part makes sense. But then... You could have maybe asked France to, like... no, you couldn't even. Yeah, I guess Holland was lost if Holland was lost, and England could take it. So, that's what happened.
Yeah. But yes, good turn for you. I'm very curious as to what you'll build here, because Fleet Anchor feels kind of rubbish, but also 3 armies is a bit rough.
Well, is Fleet Anchor that rubbish?
I guess
Russia is going to be disbanding Fleet Black Sea.
Okay, that makes it a lot better.
It does, doesn't it?
Man, Russia's down to what, 3 now?
Maybe 2.
2, yeah. Moscow to St. Petersburg. Ouch. What a fall. Like, so that was very quick.
Yeah, Russia does that a lot. It's very sad.
That is the problem with playing Russia.
Also, one of those 6 was my home center in Constantinople, so...
Oh, yeah. So yeah. You're glad to see it.
I'm pretty happy to see it. And then I walk into Sevastopol, and now no more Russian fleets in the south anytime soon. That said, Italy comes to me during this phase and tells me in no uncertain terms that I am not allowed to put a fleet down on Ankara.
Okay.
And I look at him, and I roll my eyes, and I'm like, dude... A fleet in Ankara is so good for me, and it is not even a little bit anti-Italian. Like, I've already had my issues with Italy, and this, like, really confirmed to me, like, I am not going to get along with this Italian player. Because the fleet in Ankara, like, mean, I would like your honest, unbiased opinion after I've told you what I want you to think. What do you think about it? Do you think Fleet Anchor is anti-Italian?
Uh,
Assuming Russia's
I
disbanding Fleet Black Sea.
I can see why Italy doesn't want it, right? It right now Italy has complete domination of the Eastern Mediterranean without even having any fleets there. The moment that Turkey has two fleets on the board, that's gone. Italy has to put a fleet back in this area to make sure that you don't come out with those fleets. Um, so I see as Italy why they would want that, right? But at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily anti-Italian. It's just like ruining the dominant position that the Italian has by extension of, there's now more fleets in that area.
Yeah, because Turkey's going to use these fleets to take Austrian thoughts.
Mhm.
It's just Italy's just like, hey, I don't want you to be strong, Turkey. Don't be strong.
Yeah, pretty
I'll
much.
react well to that. Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, I'm putting a fleet down. You can bite me.
All right. Uh, sh-
This might have this affects the power rankings, I guess.
Shall we go through some of the wins?
Yeah,
All right.
we can take a look.
So, yep, that's Black Sea off, Ankara on. Interestingly, it's Army Venice. Did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I remember why I did this. Because I was pretty sure that if like as during part of these bluster negotiations between me and Italy, Italy was like, "Well, look, if you don't build a fleet, I'll build an army in Venice. And if you do build a fleet, you can tell me you're building a fleet, then I'm going to put a fleet in Naples." And I'm like, "Dude, put a fleet in Naples. Like what are you going to do to me?" It's like you've already got a bunch of fleets in the West. I can tell you're not pushing after France anymore. Your fleet in Naples, the stone nothing. This isn't a threat. So yeah, I'm building fleet anchor, and you can build a fleet in Naples, and then we can be friendly later. This is because I'm just hoping that he does, because I assume that if he puts a fleet in Naples, then Austria will actually finally go for a stab on Italy.
Hmm.
Because Russia's down to two. I'm in Sevastopol. I'm offering to put to put Austria in like Moscow and stuff. Things can be great. Then Italy puts this army down in Venice, and then Austria gets cold feet. And I realize my negotiations here screwed up. We should talk about. Sorry, this is. We should talk about this later. First, let's go to winter, like power
Well,
rankings first.
power rankings. All right, you are no longer halfway off. I think here, like Russia is down here for sure. Um, I mean, I would put them
It's
down here
ugly.
too, but I'm gonna keep them on.
I mean, yeah, they've still got two home centers, and my army in Sevastopol is it's a vagabond, right? There's no. We don't know who it's fighting for.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm being a bit too generous with your position here. Like it that seems like the next group of powers to me, like England and you, and then going up to the others. But maybe you think you're stronger than someone else? Like, where would you put yourself?
I am Turkey, and like honestly, right? If we look at this, if we don't know that I know that Italy is turning around because Italy's told me explicitly in no uncertain terms that Italy is turning around, then honestly, the Turkish position is incredibly safe.
Hmm. Yes.
I'm gonna have this fleet in the Black Sea. I'm gonna be able to support hold Sevastopol, and that's just pretty stable. Um, it doesn't have a huge amount of growth, true, but unlike Germany or Austria or England, like there's no risk to my health. Um, but I expect Italy's turning around, so I think this is reasonable. I mean, I've only got four dots.
Yeah. Would you put yourself above England or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm like looking at the
England's
English
got
position.
like
I think the English position is a little bit better than I'm giving it credit for here because, because Germany is committed both directions, so they're not really like gonna put up that grace of a defense in this area. But
I mean Germany's just not committed to the east. Germany's going to pull back from
yeah,
Prussia and Silesia, obviously.
yeah. So England's not got that much immediate expansion. I think I'm pretty okay with these three in this order. Who are you? Who would you put next?
Um, Probably I think I would put Italy first at this point.
You put Italy above France. All right.
Maybe France is France, but France, these four armies are really starting to grind my gears now.
Hmm.
Like, it slows down growth a lot. England has this army now back on London,
Yeah.
and so it's no guarantees. Like, you don't have a free shot at Liverpool the way that you often do. Um,
And you've got
yeah,
Italian
I
pressure
mean,
down here, although that Italian pressure will probably vanish, as you mentioned. They're probably going to turn around, right?
yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Italy's got the annoying part that there's now a forced out of Turkey with two fleets, and that is annoying for Italy in the long run. So maybe France is first. Like, England is less of a guaranteed annoyance to England is less annoying to France than I will be to Italy probably at some point in this game. That said, I'm open to not attacking Italy at some point. I'm happy to attack Austria, but as Italy's talked about, there's just no universe where they're attacking Austria. And I'm like, okay, if you're not attacking Austria, then there's not that much for the two of us to talk about.
Yeah, I think I'm going to flip these back over purely because I'm looking at the Italian
France,
position
France.
here and going, where is the Italian expansion, right? It has to be into Austria, but like their opportunity to stab Austria has been and gone, kind of. Austria has the spare units back on the line now to counter their units trying to come in. They're not sat in the
Well,
position to walk into Vienna or Budapest anymore, right? And if they move back, they have to get rid of that Austrian unit in Tyrolia. It feels tough. Whereas I think, yes, France has a problem with having this many armies. It's going to make the stabs on England more difficult. But at the same time, there is expansion into Munich potentially. There is that line of like bringing the fleets back up here and convoying into Clyde, something like that as an option for them, right? I think there's a few things on the table they could do that Italy just doesn't have options that match. Um, yeah, that's my view on that at the moment.
yeah, that's reasonable. I think that the Italian position isn't great. The French position, notably, also struggles for growth. It's kind of only going to come from England, right?
Yes. Uh, but I think that's like more
Easier than it
realistic.
is to get from
Yeah.
Austria. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Maybe I should be looking at Austria and Germany. I don't think Germany has the kind of like any expansion right now. They're on the defensive, so much so that they need to pull back from their potential expansion in Warsaw. Austria has expansion, but it's dependent on you, I think. And you have kind of
That's
made
a
it
great
clear in the
place to be.
commentary that you aren't intending to actually put them into Moscow, I think. Maybe I got the wrong end of the stick there, but
No, I'm absolutely intending to put them into Moscow.
I think if I was
I'm a
looking at
friend.
this independent from your commentary, I would put Austria above Germany here, and
Okay.
like that. So I'm gonna do that.
What, you think that, wait, because of my commentary, you think that I am a less valuable ally to Russia, to Austria?
Yes.
Oh, come off it. Oh, come off it.
You
Whatever.
genuinely think you are gonna help Austria run over Russia here?
Yes.
You actually are. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Austria kept me, like, Russia did his job. He kept me in the game after stabbing me at the opening. I have no long term loyalty to this fuck. And I need. Italy is going to fight me. I need Austria to work with me against Italy. I want Austria to get as few units against Russia as possible, so the three of our units in Warsaw, Ukraine, and Sevastopol can take care of Russia, and then the rest of Austria's units, Galicia, Romania, Bulgaria, Tyrolia, can all be used against Italy.
See, the impression that I was getting was that you're of the opinion that Austria is never going to stab Italy at this point, right? So why would you
Well,
help
look.
Austria? This is-
So that's where the things aren't quite. The timing of stuff in this phase. I realized that during builds, I was pretty sure that if Italy didn't build the army in Venice, then Austria was going to stab Italy anyways. What I didn't realize was how much of a deal breaker it was. Because when I look at this position as Austria, I don't think it makes sense to attack Turkey here. I think that's very much true, right? Um, yes, you can take Sevastopol by risking Warsaw, because you can like Moscow because well I'm willing to help Austria against Russia. Russia doesn't know that, so Russia is still going to help me.
Mm.
So I know that Moscow is going to support Sevastopol to hold, and Ankara is going up the Black Sea. And like, if Austria fights, you just don't get anything in the east. And so then I talked to Austria, and we'd agreed where I would help Austria take Greece, and then Austria can pull Romania back to Serbia. Then Galicia goes to Vienna, and Tyrolia either walks in. I think Tyrolia just walks into Trieste directly, while Galicia goes to Vienna, and then you can support hold Trieste. And then I would take, I think Greece was the one that I was going to take either, or I put Austria from. I think I was put Austria from Bulgaria into Greece while I backfill from Constantinople. And like, this is just an AT, just a classic AT that works quite well.
Mhm.
And I'm more than happy to do this alliance.
All
Uh,
right.
and I think that that can happen. I think that that actually works for me and for Austria. I think that if you wait forever, it doesn't work. That was my thinking and hope.
But the army in Venice crushed that hope, kind of, because Austria backed out.
Well, Austria didn't say they were backing out. And I didn't realize how much Austria had tied it. And then, because of these negotiations, Austria was considering my support in the East conditional on the attack against Italy right now. And so Austria then decided they were just going to stab me whole in because they weren't willing to stab Italy. And that was poor negotiations on my part.
Mm-hmm.
I induced another person who was considering to working with me to stab with me because I pushed for a little too much. That said, I think I'm right. I think as Austria, I don't think you can afford to not stab Italy anymore. I think if you can, especially if you can get France to continue pushing in the West, I think there's a solid chance. Oh, by the way, France is pissed at Italy. Obviously, Italy lied to France about stuff in the West, and like that snipe on Marseille, like
Mm.
like that was obviously a huge lie. And so France got annoyed at Italy. The way that Italy has a way of negotiating with people, like Italy can be both very charming when he wants to, like incredibly smooth and whatever, and then will just be incredibly um, abrasive and like he just flips dramatically. When he wants to work with you, it's very clearly one, and when he's pissed at you, it's just very clearly the other one. And so everyone who he's stabbed has gone through these bipolar phases, which is interesting to note, and it's a thing that I am very much taking advantage of, because after you have one of those berating Italian sessions, when I come in there and just like, man, that sucked, wasn't it? Then it's worked remarkably well to get people on side. I don't think it was enough to get France to actually want to do anything against Italy here, but I really hope that it was. And after he's lied to them, like Italy has currently lied to me, to Russia, and to France now. He hasn't lied to Austria yet, and he hasn't lied to Germany yet necessarily. I'm not sure. He might have lied, but like minor lies. But he's currently like set Russia up to fail and killed him, and then set France up to fail and tried to kill him, but then France defended. So I think it's obvious to everyone that Italy is a lying, two-faced rat bastard. Um, but people don't seem to feel that way until he stabs them personally. So hey, whatever. Um, Power rankings are done. I think we can go see the moves.
Yeah, all right. Let's go Spring '05. Austria does go for you. Okay.
Yeah. Womp womp. Goes via Ukraine, makes the take on Sevastopol guaranteed. You'll notice I'm putting Warsaw up in Moscow. That's what Austria wanted. I was happy to make that happen. And everything was set up. The agreement was that I was going to walk into Aegean from Constantinople, and then Austria was going to let that happen, and then we're just going to be set up to do things. Like, the alliance was potentially going to work out, and then Austria went for an annoying stab on Sev. It's not even a particularly brutal stab on Sevastopol. Like,
Hmm.
yes, Austria can keep it, but like, I don't know. It's not even that bad.
Yeah, it's more annoying in the sense that you just showed Russia your hand, right? That you were working with Austria, and now you kind of need to flip back to Russia's side, right? So
And
you
not a
have to
problem.
go to Russia
Trust
and
me,
say,
I got it.
hey, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, I've had a very good relationship with Russia, where I can get and be like, look, man, you're on two centers. I didn't think you were going to last very long, and I need Austria against Italy because remember, fuck Italy. And if I'm trying to beat Italy, then I'm going to need Austria on side. Austria's not on side. This is problematic. I guess we're going to lose to Italy anyways. But just say Italy as many times as you can in a sentence when talking to Russia, and Russia's going to work with you. Just keep doing that. uh, and it worked ridiculously well. And so Russia's like, all right, fine, let's bring it back to Civ. Go for it.
Hmm.
And that's great. Um, and Italy's like, rah, rah, war, war, war. I can't believe you would try to move into the Aegean Sea. How dare you? And I'm like, dude, Austria attacked me. Like, I'm ready to fight Austria. If you fight Austria with me, I'll probably fight Austria. I'm not here to do any of this stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and then Italy actually, I think, tells me he's attacking Austria this phase.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But he might. He might. He says something along the lines. I forget exactly what happens. But Italy, Italy and I for the next. We're in '05. For the next 4.5 years, every phase we talk about having peace and demilitarizing in some manner, and inevitably don't do the moves that we agree upon.
I've been in those sort of positions, yep.
And it's quite fun. Okay, we're just sitting there. Both of us are just smiling as we type out whatever we want, and it's a fun thought exercise to sit there at the table and think of like what could I ask for this other person to do that maybe they might do in some position, even though they're probably not going to do it. And like, what can I say that's like plausible but not going to reveal too much of my moveset because I want to do like some of what I say and some of what I not, so it can't be too predictable. It was great. It was a whole lot of fun.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Can
but
I
yeah,
call attention to some moves on this board? I just wanted to.
yes, please.
I assume that this is agreed between Italy and Austria. This is a cool thing to do, right? Austria gets the tap on Munich in order to just go for it in case Germany goes for Warsaw. But at the same time, this dislodge basically allows it to do that and move to Bohemia. Always a cool thing to do when you get to do that, right? A forced retreat can give you an extra move in a turn. It's a nice thing. The other thing I wanted to point out, this France support trying to get Germany to go for England, and at the same time not actually moving anything else towards England at all. So maybe they should have held back on doing this, because now as England I would go, oh, I guess I'll maneuver back towards France again, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to highlight this particular move
Hmm.
because the French and English relationship is important this game. Believe it or not, I know I'm Turkey, but France and England need to they matter on the board. Um, which is fun. Also, something to highlight: we're in '05. Everyone is still on the board. The smallest is on 2, and the biggest is only on 6.
Yes.
So, like, balance of power enjoyers rejoice because if you guys want balance of power, oh, have we got some balance of power coming for you? Oh yeah. Also, just everything this whole game is spent. Um, but yeah, other so that's the Belgian move. I think was really, really, really bad for France.
Hmm.
Because it pissed off England, and I know that England actually got pissed off at this. England is like, I'm on 4 centers, man. France is on 6. France has been lying this whole time. Italy just attacked him, and even still, he's sitting here trying to piss me off. And France just held with all of France's units. Germany held with most of Germany's units and pulled back. The West is just an absolute cluster where nobody does anything. And then, if you look at the East, stuff's going back and forth. Centers are changing hands. Alliances are changing around. We got stabs. We got fake stabs. We got negotiations. Everything's going crazy every turn. It's just really the East is fun, man. The West is not. I could not stand living in the West right now in this game. I would go insane.
All right. Um. Well, yeah. Did you want to talk more about stuff this phase, or shall we move on to the fall?
Um, I mean, I know. Okay, let's go look at the fall, and we can talk about stuff in the fall.
All right. Fall 1905. Oh my god, Italy actually did it.
Italy actually does stab Austria here, and this is one of those things where Italy might have told me that they were stabbing Austria, and I just didn't believe them because that's how our negotiations are. Or Italy kept this one secret, and then it was after this phase that it was like, "Yo, by the way, I'll put you in Bulgaria, buddy. We're friends now."
Hmm.
Um, it was something like these, or yeah, or he told me and he asked to put me in Bulgaria, but I looked at this and was like, "Wait a minute, this is my out." Even if Italy agrees to put me in Bulgaria, I don't want to take it. I don't want to put a fleet in Bulgaria. Also, I know for a fact he's going to misorder and support me to the wrong Bulgaria coast. because I put quotation marks around misorder. That's how backstabber can work, and it's like really funny.
Hmm.
Um, but I um, I just don't actually want that to happen. If I know that Austria is not going to defend against Italy because that's been the entire game so far, and Austria's had complete faith in Italy forever, despite every potential stab that Italy's had with the army in Greece and all the other armies, and Austria's never defended. Austria's never going to defend against Italy. Period. Knowing that, Austria's going to get explode, and Italy is going to get crazy strong, crazy fast. And so, in a balance of power decision, I say I need to be set up to fight Italy post Austria.
Mm.
Because otherwise Italy's just going to win this game. Italy's going to be on 8 centers. I'm going to be on 4, setting up to fight the 8 center board leader, and no one else on the board is going to help me with this. Austria's going to help me with this because Austria's going to get stabbed. That's true. France isn't going to help. France got other issues. Germany can't help. Russia can't help because Austria's done a great job at insulating Italy from both of us. So this is not great news. And guess what? Austria took a center from me. This is all bad.
Mm-hmm.
It
Wait,
was
so
that,
specifically, was this the thought process before? This was the thought process after Italy has made the stab, right? Or was it before?
I think I don't. I think Italy was offering to put me in Bulgaria this phase instead of taking Serbia themselves.
Okay, interesting. And so
I
you saw
think.
that and go, okay, I need to stop Italy. Did you warn Austria?
Toward Austria, every phase that Italy was going to take Serbia at some point, and I don't remember exactly.
Well, then that's a boy who cried wolf problem, right? You tell them in
Yeah, but I
every
was
single
right.
phase, then...
I told them that in every phase it was going to happen at some point. I didn't say exactly when, at any point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright.
And also, again, Italy might not have told me that he was doing the stab this phase, and it might have been a later thing, but I'm pretty sure.
God.
I forget the exact negotiation on this one. Again, the negotiations with Italy are so tough because Italy lied, and I lied to them a lot. That what was said versus what was meant is two very different things, and it's tough. Point is, I didn't take it. I'm in a GNC, and I'm actually feeling pretty good about things. I know I'm on 3 centers, but I'm in a GNC, Constantinople, and the Black Sea. But I have a disband. The disband makes me very sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very, very sad. In the West, we see that after supporting Germany against Holland, into Holland again, after France support the Germany against England by supporting Kiel into Holland, and then Germany didn't take it and was trying to just play the middle again, France got sufficiently pissed at Germany that France says, all right, screw this, I'm walking into Ruhr and I'm going to make a move against Germany.
Yeah.
And walked into English Channel because position, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm very
it's a good
surprised
spot.
that England didn't bounce English Channel. But
Well,
yeah, I guess they're
yeah,
not
I
in a
don't know.
position where they can throw away an alliance if they think
Yeah.
they'll go on.
Oh, also, I'm sure that France told England that English Channel was demilitarized.
Okay.
I'm very confident of that fact. The way that the East-West was going, every phase they were making deals and just completely breaking them in like the most boring and useless manner. Stuff like, I'm going to support you into Holland, and then Germany doesn't take the support into Holland. Or like, hey, English Channel is demilitarized, and then they just like walk into English Channel. It's all like annoying, the stupid petty stuff that just gets you pissed but doesn't actually do anything or like change the position significantly. It's just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So the West, nothing happens, nothing ever happens. It's all very annoying. The East continues to be the saver of the commentary because, yeah, Italy just stabs Austria now, and Russia supports Armenia back into Sevastopol. ISM, you're a bro. Next time, just don't take Constantinople from me in 01, but hey, you did. Ever since then, you've been the best ally a guy could ask for. And yeah, so after this stab, Austria comes to me and says, all right, Italy's annoying. I trusted him, and we're going to kill his ass. So I will do whatever it takes to stop Italy from winning the game. I will give you whatever you want. I will do whatever you want. We can't let Italy win. And at first I'm like, this is too good to be true. And then I look at it and I realize, oh, this is probably just true. Because this Italian stab is so brutal. Right, Budapest is lost. The fleet in Bulgaria can't really influence much. Italy's building even more. I don't have that much position against Italy because Austria is walling me off so much. Austria just took Sevastopol and is trying to make it up to me. Like, yikes. But now we added one more to the people who hate Italy. We've got France, who's annoyed, doesn't hate, Russia, who hates, Austria, who hates, and me, who's incredibly annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone hates Italy, and everyone loves me because I am probably going to fight Italy at some point.
Mm. And
Cool.
everyone loves the underdog, right? Who's
Oh, everyone loves the underdog. The scrappy underdog who's just trying to fight back into this game.
Mhm. But you've got that disband, which is painful.
Sorry, I remember what the negotiations were. This phase, it wasn't that Italy was offering to support me to Bulgaria. Italy was just telling me that they weren't going to be supporting Bulgaria to hold, and I could take it if I wanted to. That was it. Of course, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, Black Sea Khan could take Bulgaria, but I decided I wanted to be in Aegean even more.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, I'm very interested as to what your disband is going to be. Shall we move?
Yeah,
to
me
the winter?
too. It was a really tough decision here. But because of Austria saying, I'm totally 100% on your side, and you can do whatever you want, I'm like, you know what, this fleet in the Black Sea, this is mostly an anti-Austrian unit. Let me keep arming Armenia, which is definitely also an anti-Austrian unit. But they're all anti-Austrian units. But at least it can also maybe do something against Russia later. Like, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye on this army in Armenia, by the way. If you want to talk about, like, all-time great units of mine, this one's up there. This army is clutch. So this army, look, it's going to walk into Armenia, and everyone tells me they want me to be the one to take Sevastopol. So Armenia goes to Sevastopol. That's just going to happen.
Mm.
So tactically, Austria is saying we'll do everything to fight Italy that we possibly can, and I'm like, well, I don't know. The tactics ain't great, if I'm being honest. Russia's going to like retake Warsaw. I'm going to take Sevastopol. But hey, I could put you in Greece, and I can walk into Bulgaria from Constantinople, and then we could put a bunch of pressure on Serbia. Stuff can happen. And like, look, I'm always happy to put people in places.
Mm-hmm.
And so those tactics make sense. And again, the West, no dots changed hands, so no builds happen. Just Italy built 2, Austria and I lost 2, and Russia is just plodding along.
Yeah, shall I move forward to see those builds then? Or...
Oh yeah, sorry, look at builds. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Black Sea off, Sevastopol off, that makes sense, because you are going to walk through to it. Army, Venice, Fleet, Naples. I guess that also makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so the plan is for you to put Austria into Greece, then move through to Bulgaria and move forward into Sevastopol. Honestly, looks really nice for you, even though Italy is so dominant. You're at least getting some centers back, right?
And you know what's fun, right? Is that I am taking centers from Austria while working with Austria.
Mm-hmm.
What a great alliance.
That's how you want all alliances to be.
Oh, it's so good.
Shall I go to the spring then? See the moves?
Yeah, we can do spring. Notably, Austria wasn't asking me to feed Austria all tactics. I was just doing the stuff that's close to me. So let that be known that I do not condone the tactics that Austria goes for.
Okay. All right. So Austria tries to get into Budapest, Vienna, taps Serbia. I mean, this looks pretty fine. They get into Vienna?
No. Bohemia supports Galicia to Vienna. No. Don't take from Bohemia. Bohemia is important.
Why is Bohemia important? Because you can get
it controls Vienna in a safe manner. It controls Tyrolia. It's a really important spot to be.
Fair enough.
Like this, you don't actually keep anything. Like, you get into Vienna, but you're not holding it. Like, this is terrible. It's really important to get out of Warsaw. Like, having units in Bohemia, Vienna, Galicia is much better than this shit.
Okay. I guess I see that, yeah, because if you have the unit in Bohemia, it can't be cut by anything other than, well, if you're friends with Germany anyway, can't be cut by anything other than Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyrolia,
so it's good.
Yeah,
but instead we have this army in Ukraine that does nothing. We get into Vienna, but we can't hold Vienna. It's all terrible. And then Italy does a good tactical shot here with having Serbia just tap Bulgaria.
Mm.
It's like, oh, here's the guaranteed move for them to take Greece, and in this context, Serbia just taps Bulgaria to just take advantage of these guaranteed move sets. Romania could have supported Constantinople up to Bulgaria, which would have made the position significantly better. If we were in Bulgaria and Romania, then we could like support Romania into Serbia and like tap Trieste and tap Budapest, and then um, yeah, we
Yeah.
would tap Serbia, tap Trieste. We would support Romania into Serbia while tapping Trieste and Budapest. Sevastopol covers Romania, and then we take Serbia guaranteed. Romania probably like gets lost or not, depending on what happens with Romania. But like Italy's position is, oh, there's Ukraine even to help cover. So like it actually goes quite well. Um, and with Serbia, Bulgaria, like Greece is going to be held for a minute. But because of this bounce in Bulgaria, none of those tactics around Serbia are viable anymore. So that's a
Mm.
really, really important bounce from Serbia into Bulgaria.
Yeah. Well done, Italy, on that.
Yeah, that's a good tactical shot. And then again, we could have outplayed it with Romania supporting Constantinople up to Bulgaria, but that only beats this as opposed to the cut, which means if Serbia does something else, then we could have knocked out into Greece, which would have been really bad.
Yeah.
But I think looking back on it, I don't know, this worked out very nicely for Italy. This was an important tactical phase, and I am sad about it because Austria is offering to work with me more closely than Italy is. Italy is like an enemy, and at this phase, by the way, Italy says, "All right, I'm going to fight you until the end of the game. You supported Austria into Greece. I hate you forever, and I'm going to fight until you're dead. No chance of peace at any point. We're just at war. Go fuck yourself."
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's not very nice. Um, but okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, not great news. Not a great sign for my diplomacy. Um,
I mean, it's also just a bit too honest on Italy's part, right? Even if you do decide that you want to death war someone forever, you probably don't want to tell them that because you want them to believe that you might like compromise at some point. Maybe you can get them to do some bad tactical things by telling them to peace out and then going in for them anyway.
well, good news for Italy. I do bad tactical things. I tend to get this piece out anyways at some point. But we'll get there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because when someone says that they're going to death ward to your face, right? Like, obviously they're lying because no one would ever say that to your face because it's such a stupid thing to say to your face. So no one would ever do that.
Hmm.
Big brain Ezio. Um, okay. Let's look at the West again a little bit and just the incompetence in the West. They all try to make moves and nothing happens. All right, great. That's the West.
I think you'll find there is one successful move among the Western powers. Western
Ooh,
men
West to
took
Leon.
off of Leon. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and obviously knowing that Italy's gonna fight me forever, I'm not very happy about that. I'm like, what are you doing? This is so useless. Like, if you're trying to attack England, get it to Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Like, actually do something. But you're just gonna sit around doing nothing ever, and it's very sad. But whatever. The West is a giant cluster. But notably, um, it's a giant cluster, but it's a giant cluster that is between a English and French war, as opposed to what previously looked like maybe England and France were going to work against Germany. But I think the move in the English Channel sufficiently ticked off England that they said, screw this isn't happening. And then France went for the bad guess tactically again, and so just went for London and then got bounced out.
Mm.
Maybe it's a ruse, but I don't know. Convoys into London often aren't ruses.
Yeah, this is a weird move set of trying to pull Holland out and tap Belgium. I assume this is to secure North Sea against potentially Skagerrak Denmark coming in, and then a tap on
Yes.
Belgium. But I don't see why you don't just tap with Holland, right, and support hold North Sea or something like that. Here.
Yeah, this one looks cooler.
It does. That is true. And like at the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference at all. So,
And no moves mattered. The only relevant move was that Yorkshire covered London.
yes.
Okay,
good
I think
guess
we can
there.
go look at some more tactics. Oh, by the way, Russia was super on board with me walking into Sevastopol. He's giving that to me. That's fine. And then here we talk with Russia about stuff because Russia's like, dude, I hate Italy. I don't want Italy to win this game at all. But like, also I'm pissed at Austria, and like, I'm just gonna get some dots here. The major question is, what does Russia do with Moscow? And Oh, yes. I was talking with Germany. So we haven't spoken much about Germany because up until now, I've just been trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how my game has been. Just survival. But we're at the point now where Italy starts to be relevant. The death war comments were quite interesting. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, we are going to need help against Italy. Italy's on 8, and even if Austria and I are fighting, this is not going to go well for us. The tactics, the bounce Bulgaria are pretty rough. Like, we are not going to beat Italy together. We're going to need help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember talking to Germany about an attack on Italy, and Germany was basically like, "I'm probably not going to do that. I think that it exposes me too much at home to make any moves anywhere else. I can't even afford to throw a tap on Tyrolia because maybe England and France are still working together and they're going to attack me later.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get a build, I'll probably try to do something." And so then I'm talking to Russia about the fall. That's because this stage negotiation for the fall turn, and with about 5 minutes before the phase flips, Russia tells me that he's not going to be covering St. Petersburg, um,
Mm.
because he doesn't want to cover St. Petersburg, um, and I'm like, all right, I don't know if I want Russia to be on 3 dots.
Mm.
Like, I know that Russia claims that he hates Italy, but he might just be saying that to me. Most of his moves have looked pretty anti-Austrian. And if Russia's on 3 dots in '06, maybe he's going to try to win the game. And if he tries to win the game, he's going to have to start fighting me. I'd rather him just be on 2 dots and not do anything. And so I tell Germany with like 5 minutes up that I think St. Pete's going to be open. Because I'm trying to make him be friendly because I think I'm going to need him against Italy. So if I can leak the information, it's relevant. Notably, I have no idea if Germany saw this message or not. I don't think he saw it in time. But if we go to the moves, we can see that Germany went for St. Petersburg anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So it was potentially it was potentially through your tip off, or potentially he was doing it anyway. But either way, you're happy with this outcome, right? One
Yep,
fewer
and I
Russian
was a
unit,
little
one more
frustrated.
German. Yeah.
Yes, I was a little frustrated about this because Germany could have moved to Tyrolia this phase,
Mm.
and that would have actually been very significant tactically against Italy.
Yeah.
And Italy is still on 8, and as you can see, the tactics, because of that bounce to Bulgaria, these tactics just aren't very good for me and Austria. Austria is down to, what, 2 centers now?
Mm.
1 center?
Romania, Greece, right? Is that
Greece is
it?
Austria now, so down to two
Yeah.
centers now. Yep.
Mm.
And, like, okay, Austria's on 2. I'm on 5, by the way, +2 for me. Let's go. Sevastopol, Bulgaria, pretty great. Um, but, like, Italy's just going to win this one. Italy's an Eastern Med and Ionian, and, like, so Greece is lost. Uh,
And
Everything's
yeah,
frustrating.
France just pulled
Um,
back as well, even more.
France just pulled back from Italy, and then France pulled back from Germany as well. So Germany like wasn't in any risk of losing anything. Could have used, and then also Silesia tapping Galicia, right? It's like no, this is very clearly pro-Italian moves from Germany. Nothing even a little bit anti Italy, and like that's just the problem for everyone because Italy's not going to get stopped, and Italy's just going to win the game. So balance of power dictates that you fight my enemy. Yes, yes, good, good.
Hmm.
This is when balance of power is. I'm a balance of power player.
Yep. When
Notably, I don't like fighting the board leader, but like again, last year the board leader was like, "Hey, I'm going to fight you until you're dead, you and Austria," and I'm like,
yeah, I mean, also
"Okay,
just in
okay."
this position, how much do you gain from working with the board leader? You're in a position where you sort of have to, right? Because if you're like, I think the board leader is always, well, Italy is always going to fight you in this position because there's no, like, you're their main threat to the win. Not that you can take the win from them by overtaking them, but you're always going to go in their direction from here, right? That's at
So I'm just going
least
to
what it
posit
looks like.
that's not necessarily true. It is possible for Italy, Turkeys to do things where Turkey builds a butt ton of armies, and I'm down to 1 fleet. And I was offering that I can just build a bunch of armies and just schlep them north. I can take Romania, Warsaw, Moscow, and like hope that Italy doesn't win. Because if we fight, I think France is going to win this game. And I told Italy this, not this winter, but next spring. I'm like, we need to figure our shit out because this isn't going to work out for us. And Italy responds and is talking about negotiations and stuff. And this is where we get our many phases of like, this is going to go crazy. But because Italy doesn't want to talk to me, doesn't want to make peace at this point, I'm not making any deals about two armies. I wouldn't build two armies here anyways. But like, I forget exactly what I built. Is it two fleets? It might be two fleets. Maybe a fleet spear and a fleet anchor. It might be an army.
Shall I go
I
ahead
forget
and
what I built.
see?
Yeah, let's go to winter and to give a look at things. I remember. I told Italy. I told Austria to keep the fleet Greece on the board, because they had a tactical line that I really liked. I wanted them to pop Romania. That's right, because I knew that I was going to be supporting myself up into Romania, so it was going to get popped, and I wanted Austria to keep the Greek fleet on the board because then I could send Aegean to Eastern Med, and then Greece could cover Aegean. And that was a tactical line that I was hoping to get. But Austria didn't notice, didn't respond, and then just didn't put the disband of Greece, which made sense because Greece is lost. Like the position on this one doesn't work for Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Italy's on 8. I'm on 5. This is power rankings time.
It is. I will say that Austria has dropped significantly.
Yeah.
Not off the board yet, but it's certainly Russia in second last, Austria in last right now, right? There's not really anything that that can change that. And then I think England definitely third last.
Definitely third last.
Well, I don't know. Who else would you put there? Do you think you would put yourself?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, England has 4, and every direction for them is kind of barricaded, right? Although I guess you're also barricaded in by quite an overwhelming force here, and you don't have that many options for getting through that overwhelming force, so maybe...
And the overwhelming force includes, like, stuff that's more hostile to me, I think. Like, England, they have the one hostile French fleet in English Channel, and then the one in Spain that's coming up very slowly. There's no imminent danger. Whereas, I'm going to lose Aegean, probably. Just pretty soon. Greece is lost. My position's all bad.
Alright, I'll flip you guys then. And then I think Italy at the top, right?
Unless the board unifies, Italy's gonna do pretty well, probably. That said, fighting me is annoying, right? Like, eliminating Turkey is always a pain in the butt, and Russia is still on side with me, so it's not like I'm just a cripple. Maybe the Russia with on side means I'm above England. I'm not sure, but like, I think Italy board top for sure. And then
I'm actually
between
tempted
Germany
to
and
put
France,
Germany above France, given the position here. Like, it's easy to default to saying France is the best, but France has very specifically annoyed England, and England is positioning purely anti-France at this point, right? Germany has managed to get into St. Petersburg. They've got a pretty solid group of armies here. I think Germany is stronger now.
yeah, I have a good reason. Germany's on 7 dots.
That is a good reason, yes. France has just 6. Yeah, alright.
And this was a big phase for me because I had been working with Germany. And Germany, by the way, the German player was the player in the last game when I was Austria, when they as Italy stabbed me ineffectually to then lose us both the game. They're now the German player. And so, yikes. But I've talked to them, I've worked with them before. And so last phase I was like, hey, you could take St. Petersburg. This phase I'm like, you need to get into Tyrolia and Bohemia. You're like, you really, really need to get into Tyrolia and Bohemia here. Just if you look at the position, right, Italy's just winning, Austria's completely cooked. If you don't do this, Italy is just going to win the game and no one else has a chance. France isn't going to do it. France has walked out of Gulf of Leon. France isn't moving at all. You have the extra unit, so you can make the move against Tyrolia and Bohemia, and Munich isn't even exposed. So you need this to happen. And Germany's like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Mm.
In a way that like makes me actually think it's gonna happen, like the last phase, the wishy-washy, whatever. So that's good news. And then tactically, um, I'm looking at Italy and I'm like, look, if the two of us fight, I don't think either one of us wins this game. I think that I'm not going to win the game because I'm small and weak and only on five. You're not going to win the game because you're not going to get enough and it's going to be annoying and then you're going to get hit by other people. And so I talk to Italy about, and I don't tell him what I'm going to do, but I tell him he's going to be happy with the moves and it's not going to be particularly aggressive towards him at all.
Oh dear.
I tell him that explicitly, which is about all I can say. And look, this is a bit of honesty. That's a bit of honesty. I was more honest with Italy than he was with me by a lot, but whatever. Again,
I
he
don't know.
told me
He
he was
seemed
death
pretty
warned.
pretty honest to me, saying to you that he was going to death war you forever.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. He's like done a good job. Well, also, death warring implies you're going to be able to kill someone, notably.
Hmm.
Um, and if you fail to kill me, then did you really death war me?
Fair. When I think death war, I think someone just committed for the rest of the game. It doesn't actually need to be to the death, right?
No, that's not how this works. Death
Alright.
wars, someone's dying in a death war.
Fine.
I think it's fair to say I'm going to fight you until I die. That's a death war. That's acceptable.
Okay.
A pretty ineffective kind of death war, but still works. Nevertheless, I tell Italy this, and Italy's like, whatever, sure.
And you still,
But yeah, let's go look at the moves.
even if Italy is just like whatever, sure, you still go through with it. It's CEO 7.
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Because I know that Germany is making this move against Italy. And if you see what I do with Eastern Med, I take Eastern Med from Aegean. I think there's a reasonable chance that Italy taps Aegean, and like I would be okay sacking Aegean this phase, in order for me to have control of Eastern Med here. And then you can see that I take Romania because I'm going to continue taking dots, continue getting into position. There's a chance that Serbia doesn't tap Bulgaria here. Not much of a chance, but a small chance, and then the position doesn't get much worse. But I'm okay being in a position to get demilitarized. Because this phase on retreats again, earlier this game, Italy disbanded a fleet and Smyrna on retreats. I am hopeful they will disband Eastern Med on retreats this phase.
Mm-hmm.
Because Germany's in Bohemia and Tyrolia, and Italy is surely going to be pissed at them. And if Italy fights me and Germany this phase, it goes really badly. Like Italy's position is actually going to crumble quite quickly here. The tactics are complicated but really bad. Vienna is guaranteed if we want it, and I'll talk about tactics more in a second. But importantly, Italy just doesn't. Italy keeps this fleet and puts it in Syria, which is just not a good place for the fleet.
Yeah.
Even if you're at war with Turkey, I don't know if you want this fleet in Syria.
It's irritating for the Turk, right? It ties down your fleets for another turn, trying to blow it up, I think, is the intention here. And as Italy, I could see myself doing this purely for the reasoning that maybe it gets blown up anyway on this turn, so I get to rebuild it at home and tie down the Turkish units for a phase.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pop it.
Okay.
I don't want to pop that fleet. If I'm under the assumption that Germany is fighting Italy, I don't want Italy to be building. I want Italy to have as few armies to defend the Balkans, because Vienna, Budapest, Trieste, Serbia, that's where the money is. That's where the fighting is going to happen. Yeah. And Austria hasn't messaged much these past couple of phases, so Austria has lost his usefulness somewhat as a vassal. Germany's in Galicia, and Russia's in Silesia, and Germany moved St. Pete over to Norway. And then Denmark to Helgoland, but I think this phase is I think is really. Is it this phase? Let me double check. I think it's this phase, right? Yes. Okay. So, so the tactics this phase are. Do they talk tactics now? Was it now or was it spring? So, we're going into the fall. England subs out. The English player had committed to working with Germany against France and was going to fight France until France died. I think that England was expecting Kiel to support Hold Holland. I think that was part of the negotiations that had happened, and Germany wasn't willing to risk Munich to do that, but I think lied to England about it, and England was sufficiently pissed about Germany flipping the deal and lying that England decided to get out of the game and just say, screw this. I want France to lose, but I am not willing to help England do. I'm not willing to help Germany do this because, like, geez, Germany's annoying. Um, and so the original English player subs out, and we get a new player, Elladan,
Paladin,
who
yeah,
comes in.
I've heard that name
Yeah,
before. Yeah,
yeah.
alright,
So
so...
Elladan comes in. So expect the dynamics in the West potentially to change, but also potentially not. I sent a couple messages to Elladan. He prefers talking about Backstabber, not Discord. So it's great because I ask people this question, unlike most people who just message on Discord. So I have like I think 24 hours where I'm the only person talking to the England sub as Turkey in this position, which is just really fun. Um, I took this game seriously, by the way. This is one of those games that I was doing a significant amount of pressing and being as active kind of as I can.
Mhm.
So which means when there's subs to reach out to them and to get a sense of what they're feeling. And I was pretty sure England was playing for survival, but was gonna like try to end on as many thoughts as possible. So I wasn't sure how it was gonna go in the West, but I figured it's fine. Germany, I think, assumed that the England sub was going to play about the same way that the previous French player did. Germany had no intention of attacking England, so if England is playing for survival, then it's fine. And I think Germany was planning on giving England a couple of dots in the mid game. But I also think that Germany was assuming the English sub would eventually throw to Germany. But I'm not sure how things go. So that's what's going on in the West. That's like the most important thing that happens in the spring phase. That's going to affect the rest of the game. Then the tactics in the East. So tactics in the East are quite fun and quite complicated. Obviously, the balance in Bulgaria again is quite sad. If I have an army in Bulgaria, things look even better and are much cooler. But fundamentally, Captain Meme, what tactics you think should be done here?
Oh god.
If you are controlling Germany, Russia, Austria, and Turkey, so Bohemia, Tyrolia, Galicia, Romania, Ukraine, Sevastopol,
mm.
whatever. You have these units and you're anti-Italy. What do you think? What do you think should be done here? Because
Well,
isn't this a tactical cluster?
so I can we can... I was gonna say we can guarantee Vienna, but I don't think we can, right? Is it? We've got Tiroli, we've got Bohemia, we've got Galicia, we've got Romania. Theoretically, yeah, you can guarantee Vienna by cutting Budapest, cut Trieste like this, and then have Galicia go into Vienna with Bohemia support. That gives the build to Russia, though, which I don't know that I'd love doing. But if I'm just purely saying, okay, I want to reduce Italy as much as possible, that feels like the play. The counterplay to that, they can put 2 on Romania, but we can defend that with 2 from Ukraine, Sevastopol, right? And then Bulgaria becomes an issue because they have Serbia plus Greece on that, and I've only got 1 unit left to defend that with. That, maybe that isn't the play then. Is there a good... The fact that you've lost a Gian here is kind of painful. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. Definitely a GM would be nice. Being able to support myself in a Bulgaria would make things a lot better for me.
yeah, maybe I'm looking at this too aggressively, right? I'm trying to look for places that we're guaranteed to take something, but maybe I just need to be looking at how do we hold everything we have.
Nah, you're not going aggressive enough, buddy.
Do you think we should be going for Venice, maybe? I don't know. Like, Venice at least is equivalent to tapping Trieste because they have to pull back to defend it, right? The... Okay, tell me, what's the tactical line here? How do you beat Italy back?
So you're very much on the right page. Serbia is going to support Greece into Bulgaria,
Hmm.
right? That's going to happen every time. Um, that just going for Romania makes no sense because Ukraine and Sevastopol are both sitting adjacent to Romania, so Romania is going to be safe no matter what. So we don't have to worry about that. Um, and so then, given that Serbia is going to do that, Trieste is going to have this choice. You can like cover Venice, you can cover Trieste, or you can support hold Vienna. Those are what you're playing around. I think covering Venice is pretty goddamn likely. Just, I think it's pretty likely because losing Venice is how Italy can really start to crumble. So I anticipate something covering Venice, but even if it doesn't, even if it supports Hold Vienna, it's not the biggest deal. It does mean that Romania needs to support Galicia to Budapest
Okay, but
because Budapest is exposed.
if you use Romania
Yeah.
to do that, then you can't secure Bulgaria, right? You just don't have the units.
Oh no, I've lost Bulgaria before. I'll lose it again. Who cares?
Okay, fair enough.
And Tyrolia should support Bohemia to Vienna.
I
Just double
see.
support, just caveman tactics. Conk. Obviously, it looks really stupid because wait, Serbia can support Budapest, Trieste can support Vienna. Like what?
And then you've got
And then
Kiev.
Italy's getting Greece, and Italy would build in Venice, and then you're just like, that's pretty bad. Um, but I'm so confident about this. The problem is that I've been trying to get Germany on side, and I know that this Germany is like a very annoying player who wants to go for safe, guaranteed things that aren't actually necessarily good. And like Germany wants to just go for the stupid guaranteed line on Vienna.
So
And I'm
the
like,
line that I was proposing.
yeah, the one that's just like, which you thought about it for like 30 seconds, and it's the correct analysis to start. Yeah, we'll tap Trieste, and then we'll support ourselves into Vienna, and it's just a guaranteed thing. And like, look, there's a universe where Trieste goes back to Venice, and then tapping Trieste is great. It feels
Mhm.
really good. Because then like yeah, then in that universe, Italy's lost Trieste, lost Vienna, and then things are okay. The difference is that there will be no disbands. If you take Vienna and Budapest, then both Vienna and Budapest get popped.
Well, if Trieste goes back to Venice, then one of them gets a retreat, right?
Sure, then only one of them gets popped, but there's a build in Venice anyways, because Greece, like Italy, is netting, and if there's pops, then there's going to be something in Venice no matter what. And then in fact, it would be yeah. So there's going to be something in like Venice and Trieste only. Whereas if you take like Budapest and Vienna, then the units get popped, and then Serbia gets crushed.
Hmm.
So the upside is absolutely massive, and like there's no way that Serbia is going to be supporting Budapest. And so if you like, you could also go for a support attack into Budapest, a tap on Vienna and a tap on Trieste. You could do something like that. But the point is like just going for Budapest is really good here. But Germany doesn't want to do that, and I like argue with Germany for a while, but I don't push nearly as hard as I should to just put my foot down and say I know what I'm doing. Like you've got to trust my tactics here. And Jeremy's like, no, we're just gonna go for the guaranteed thing, and I'm like, oh my god, whatever, fine. Um,
Okay.
so we can look at the tactics.
And it's gonna turn out that what you said was the right thing to go for.
Obviously, what I said was right. The good news is Trieste covers Venice, and so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you end up taking
This
two
position,
anyway, right?
yeah, the position is similarly good, but not really because Budapest doesn't get popped.
Mm.
The difference of putting Bohemia in, like, and we would still be in Tyrolia, right? So the tactical position with the line that I'd suggested, we would be in Tyrolia, Vienna, Budapest, and Romania.
Mm.
Italy would be in Venice, Trieste, Serbia.
Yeah.
That's it. We have four armies on the front. Serbia is guaranteed to be lost. Like just Italy completely collapses. Um, and then to make matters a little worse, um, I slip up into Moscow, and Austria slips into Warsaw.
Poor
Oops,
Russia.
I didn't think Austria was doing this. I thought that Austria was gonna leave it. So Galicia actually even gets disbanded because Russia is down to only one.
Hmm.
And this is bad. This is really bad because Italy's position almost completely collapsed, and like Trieste is a huge hole in the Italian position, but without Galicia to capitalize on it, Like, I've lost Bulgaria now. So notably, I'm still +1 again. Because I got Moscow, Russia had a fun way to talk about it. Where Russia's like, I'm not going to cover it, and I'm not going to enact retribution on you if you take it, but I'll be sad. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to mention it again.
You'll just be like, yeah, I can deal with a little sadness. That's fine. Sadness is worth a dot.
Sadness is worth a dot. And I thought that Austria was going to use Silesia to do something to help out Germany with Munich, but Austria didn't, and instead took Warsaw. And this one actually tilted me because I'm like, dude, if you're like, you see that Russia is fully against Italy, and so if you're trying to make Italy lose the game, we needed to keep Russia around. Like, this army in Galicia is ridiculously important tactically. Like, every unit in this front is so important. If we're trying to like pop Budapest, then like we can, like, if we have Galicia and Vienna and Bohemia, we can like put 2 on Budapest and 2 on Serbia and try to like pop everything. It's such a big deal. But losing this one army means that that's not even a little bit of a thing, and we have to waste a full turn to get back into position. It's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the East went middling well. Like, Tyrolean Trieste is quite strong. It's quite nice, but it's also not that important. Now, if we look at the West, though, we can see that Germany tried to convoy Norway into Holland, which is something that would go via North Sea and was supported by Helgoland, Bight, and Kiel. And so if England was convoying this, then England would lose a dot in Holland. I suspect this was something that Germany had agreed to with the previous England about this phase, and Germany just thought that the English sub would be happy to do this, like, very anti-French move. I don't know why. But England doesn't do it, and France is like, oh, that, and I think England tells France what's going on, and then France is like, wait, just like don't convoy him into Holland. I'll take Kiel from Holland, and because he's not going to use Helgoland to support, like, this is great. We'll just be fine. You'll get your build. I can send a fleet against Italy. The world's my oyster. Let's go. And so that's what happens. And so Germany loses Kiel. And so Germany gets Trieste, so it's not losing anything. But also, from my perspective, what makes me very sad is this army in Norway doesn't get convoyed away. This army in Norway, long term, is going to be annoying to me in Moscow. Like, I am sniping Moscow, and if Germany is super committed to the West, then like I might walk into St. Petersburg at some point. I might get to take Warsaw. Like, this is huge, and so if Germany's armies get thrown to the west, I'm in better position. So I really want this to happen. Furthermore, I want Germany to be in a strong, stable position to be comfortable throwing 2 armies at Italy for the rest of the game, which is needed for me, or at least until Italy's cooked. But based on the tactics, it's going to take a while for Italy to get cooked, given that we notice Italy's got 4 fleets now. Including one in Syria, Ionian, like, it's just not good for me. So it's very tough. France is in Western Med now, which is cool. And like, maybe it's gonna take Tunis, which would be pretty good news for me. So maybe there's hope.
Yeah. It at least
this is where things start to get real stressful.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, probably. Just this is where things start to get stressful, is all. As we're really nearing the end game.
Yeah. I guess at some point, like, you were saying that this was your second lease on life kind of thing, right? You were very happy to have gotten past the stage where you were going to die otherwise. But with the end now in sight, and you actually being on a good number of centers now, your mindset kind of has to change from I'm lucky to be in this position to I've got to aim for the win now. I've got to play like, you know, I've I've got to put everything on the line. I can't just be happy with having come back from that position now that the win is in sight, right?
Yeah, because a comeback doesn't mean anything unless you win.
I think some people would disagree a bit with you on that, but I can definitely see how that ties into your mindsets.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, going from a lost position to a like survive position is whatever. Anyone can do that. But going from a lost position to getting a win, that's what's relevant.
Hmm.
Um, but winning is kind of tough when I'm a 600 turkey. But notably, part of what makes me happy is that I got by keeping the Italian fleet in Syria, Italy is not able to build to defend themselves in the west. Italy
Hmm.
stayed on 8 dots, and this is fine. Also, it's good news for my position. Austria is like, oh, I'm alive. Oh, this is great. I didn't think I was going to be alive. I'm happy to help you go fight Italy. I will fight Italy until I die. And I'm like, all right,
Uh,
uh,
so
sweet.
this unit can backfill the Galicia line, and then you can just go in and
Yep.
snipe Warsaw at some point, and they go, "Oh no, my Galicia army has been disbanded. How could I have seen this?"
But notably, because I took Moscow, I'm going to get to put a fleet down in Ankara to cover the Black Sea. And
Mhm.
given that Bulgaria is under threat and Romania is under threat, the fleet in the Black Sea is going to be really important now.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Speaking of which, should we go
But
to the build phase here?
sure, we can go to builds. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that sounds good. And we can see that Italy is not, in fact, able to build anything to defend. And then France puts a fleet down in Brest, and it's like, okay, whatever, sure. You can put more fleets down in other places. Um, okay. Oh, I haven't mentioned some of this stuff. I've missed a lot of mentions. Jeez. Okay, so negotiating with France. A couple years back, when Italy first moved against France, um, France started talking about throwing the game to Italy. And everyone heard this and was just rolling their eyes because it was starting to get tilted. If you guys remember back, I think it was in like '04 or something, when Italy like had walked into Lyon and Piedmont or something. Um, and
Yeah.
like it got started all the way back then. And then for the next many years, I understand the negotiations in the West were basically Germany and France both saying to each other, "You can't attack me because if you do, I'll throw to Italy." And like both sides would say that. And then in '06, um, or was it? It was one of these phases. France offered to throw the game to Italy, and Italy said no. It was in '06 with the French. There was a French fleet in Spain and an Italian fleet in the Tyrrhenian Sea. And France was like, "Yo, you can just walk this into Spain and take it, and you can take as much from me as you want, and I'm not gonna do anything to defend it. You can just start taking my dots." Um, and Fear says no. Fear didn't want that, but instead it was just gonna do this fighting thing against me. And now there's this fleet in Western Med from France. Um, this is relevant because people just are going to spend a lot of the rest of the game talking about throwing. France and Germany in particular. Italy and I aren't much talking about throwing. Uh, oh, and England is talking about it too because England's just a sub, so it's fine. Obviously, Italy and I are just at war heads down, so there's not a whole lot of this going on. Um, and I don't like having these conversations about throws. I don't like talking about them. I'm happy to I'd much rather work with people where both of us have a position to play for a win, and then we can stab each other, and whoever has the better position wins, slash whoever has the better relationship with the rest of the board. That's how I like the games to look like. Or like, ideally, is perfect positions where like we have these balanced positions where we have tactical guesses for 50-50 shots. And like, hey, if we've each got two 50-50 shots, then that seems balanced to me. And like, I love positions like that. Um, and so I think I can set up something like that with either Germany or Italy going into the end, rather than needing this game to be about throws and like other bullshit. But the rest of the game is talking about this, and it's like the entire end game is nonsense. Thankfully, I keep my head down and I'm like, I'm gonna try to fight Italy. I'm just here to fight Italy this whole time. Um, this phase, spring of '08. So we're going into it. This is one of those many phases that I'm talking to Italy about, like peace and doing things, because because they were just stabbed by Germany, right? Germany's in Trieste and Russia's in Vienna, so this is like pretty rough for the Italian strength. Like the position itself is pretty weak, and France is in Western Med, potentially risking Tunis. And so here, I talked to Italy, and there is a solid chance that Italy. We discussed some tactical like demilitarization where Italy is able to defend, like to recapture Trieste and go for Vienna or something, and then use Ionian to cover Tunis. Um, in exchange, though, the theory was that Turkey was going to let me walk into Aegean Sea.
Italy was, yeah.
And yeah, Italy was going to let me walk into Aegean Sea, and then I was going to get like. Uh, and then he was going
Bulgaria?
to agree to let me take Bulgaria from Aegean Sea in the fall. Bulgaria from Aegean in the fall after he like backs out of stuff. I was going to let him move Syria into Eastern Med. Um, so originally Italy was like, "Hey, can you pop my fleet in Syria for me?" And I was like, "No, I don't want you to walk into the Aegean. And
Mm.
if I tell you that I'm popping Syria, you can just walk into Aegean, and that doesn't work for me. So that's not happening. But I'll let you walk out of Syria. If I go into Aegean, you walk into Eastern Med, and that could be fine. Stuff like this can happen. And then we ended up agreeing on a tactical line where Italy can pop my fleet in Aegean by supporting Syria into Eastern Med and supporting something into Aegean. I think supporting Bulgaria into Aegean specifically is the line that like and then if it works, then Italy would be in like Aegean Eastern Med. I would have. Oh, it could come from Ionian even. Anyways, point is, Italy could pop my Eastern Mediterranean fleet, have 3 on Smyrna, and I was like, okay, Italy's probably gonna go for that line, so I can screw that, and I can pop the fleet in Syria. He's gonna take from Bulgaria because he doesn't want to risk it, because he doesn't want to risk Bulgaria getting cut. So that's what's happening. And then with Germany and Russia. I forget the exact tactical line. Yes, it's that we're going to, I think, double support Trieste into Budapest, while Warsaw covers Galicia.
Okay.
And that's just like that seems great. Maybe Romania taps Serbia, or no? I think that's the double support. I forget exactly, but it's very likely to go take Budapest. It does mean that technically, they could like triple support Budapest into Trieste, and it technically doesn't. It's not guaranteed, but it's very likely. Um, but whatever, it's fine. There's a chance. Like I think that it seems like the best tactical line. Getting Budapest popped. Like Budapest gets popped. There's the army in Galicia. Romania is probably safe. Like there's a chance that I lose Romania from Budapest this phase, which would be pretty awkward. And so I want to use Moscow to help cover that possibility. So in case you lose Armenia, then I want to be safe. But tactically, things should be okay. So let's go to spring of '08.
Okay. Spring of 8. You do manage to blow up Syria. They do try and play the line to blow you up, okay? Yeah.
To blow me up and then put 3 on Smyrna and just put me in a really bad place. But I see it coming, and that's fine. And importantly, Germany flips.
Yeah, I see.
So, what was going on in negotiations with Germany this phase? I was talking to Germany. It was basically like, look, you need to get England on side because if England isn't on side, you have no hope of winning the game. So, step 1, get England on side. Step 2, you need to get enough growth from the Balkans that we can actually that like you can have a chance to win the game. And like if your growth is coming from the Balkans, you need to do that. I was proposing that he concedes Munich. So he brings Munich back up to Kiel, that he keeps Sweden up in the north, that he pulls Helgoland back to Denmark, and so that way he can maximize his defense of Scandinavia to give England no incentive to grow from Germany, because England needs to grow and needs to grow quickly if England's theoretically trying to win the game or just trying to get dots. It makes sense. And Munich isn't long for this world anyways because Italy is probably hostile with Sarmi and Tyrolia. Instead, Germany says, fuck that. I'm going to work with Italy because I can definitely trust Italy after I've stabbed him, and he stabbed every other ally that he's worked with the entire game. He said after the game he was uncomfortable with how strong that his alliance with me would put my position into. And I'm remain pissed about this because he instead trusted Italy, and oh, spoiler alert, Italy stabs his ass.
Okay.
as Italy stopped everyone else this game. Um,
Hmm. I don't think it's
but
a especially considering you're hanging around St. Petersburg as well. It's actually you're not anymore now, right? Um, but it's a reasonable
uh,
concern to say that Turkey would get too strong off this, because if Italy is strong, at least Germany can do things directly to counterplay that, to counter that, right, by attacking them.
no, we can't.
Um, if
Not
you
anymore.
if you get too strong, there's literally nothing you can do about that apart from let Italy leave Italy alone.
Well,
So
except Moscow and Warsaw. Like, those are where my dots are, and he can still
mm,
contest those.
yeah,
I'm still on 6. He's still ahead of me. He's still going to be able to retake Kiel. I'm offering to put him into Vienna and Trieste, and probably Venice as well if he like actually commits to going for it. And just based on the dot count, that's quite strong for him.
mm,
If he can get England on side, he's not going to lose anything. And if he can't get England on side, he can't win the game anyways.
mm,
All of his lines for winning the game revolve through getting England to flip. And if he does that, he's in great shape.
mm. Yeah. All right. Yes, I see. But yes, obviously he does not choose the decision that you think he should go for here.
Nope. He doesn't. He instead chooses, I'm just going to trust Italy, and I'm not going to have any growth for myself. So, yay.
Hmm.
This
Right.
one, this phase, yet again, that's Jover. I
Um.
tried, but if Germany's not going to help me, I can't win this one. It's done. Like I do solid tactics. Like I'm very happy with this. Serbia's vacant. I'm in Bulgaria. I'm going to be able to retake Romania. Um, Warsaw is safe. Like things are fine, but like I'm not winning anymore. I can't break Italy.
You don't think this
Yes,
is gonna be a problem for Italy? Like the fact that they're losing one from the back line as well? Because
I think that France is going to take 1 dot per year, and Italy's going to have small enough disbands that it's not going to matter. We're already in 1908. If this game was longer, if this game was an untimed or a 1920 or whatever, I'm still incredibly happy with my position. Right, I'm still a strong Turkey who's pretty stable, and I do agree that Italy is going to start losing stuff, but not enough, not quickly enough.
okay,
This is a 1910 game. I I just it's cooked.
or
So we fought hard, we did our thing, and like whatever, we'll just play to make legal moves kind of for a while. Maybe we can flip Germany back on side or something, but whatever.
hmm,
Um, Italy told me something this phase in this spring, which was that if he ends this phase without Romania or Bulgaria, he's just going to spend the whole game fighting for the Balkans, and he's not going to do anything to defend against France. And I'm like,
interesting.
I kind of want to have I kind of want to have Romania back. Um, Unfortunate that. Um, so yeah, that's sad. But hey, he's already been fighting me the whole game, and like it's easy to say that you're just gonna fight me the whole game, but like, come on, you can't just let France walk into Rome and Naples, right? Like that's not a thing. Certainly not if you're trying to win the game, anyways, right? If
Hmm.
you're trying to win the game, you still have to defend against France, because your point about like, aren't these French fleets going to be a problem for Italy? Like, yes, if Italy's trying to still win, which maybe Italy should, given that Italy has the most dots on the board. Um,
Yes.
but I think you can go look at the fall and we can see how things go.
All right. Full moves. No defense on Ionian at the moment, and they pull Romania back into Serbia. Interesting. I guess to make sure
Yeah,
that it's not forced, right? They want to try and make sure you don't bounce
yeah.
the mouse and then force it.
And man, this was one of the many moves I regretted. If Bulgaria taps Serbia, we pop Romania.
Hmm.
Ah,
Yes,
would have been so good.
that would be huge. I'm honestly like I know it what you do here completely makes sense, but given your C dot take dot attitude, I'm surprised you didn't just kill the Austrian and grab another.
No, no, no! He's fighting Italy with me. No, he's
Yes.
a friend. No, I'm not a lunatic. Jesus Christ.
All right,
No.
fine.
Plus, it takes Romania. I'm taking Romania with my dot in Ukraine. Like, then I am helping fight securing dots to myself, keeping my ally alive. Jesus Christ. No.
All right.
Oy, oy, oy.
No, I think what you're doing is correct. I'm just also, I would have found it very funny if you had forced the disbanding Galicia after the Russian disbanding Galicia the previous time.
That one would have been very funny.
Uh,
But yeah. And then look, Italy like pulls back out of Romania, and I self bounced in con, and I successfully guessed I guessed that the attack that they're going for, so everything's fine. I don't lose anything. And this is like, okay, it's a solid turn. Look, I'm +1. I'm up to 7.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. Like,
that's.
okay. But I can't win if Italy doesn't. If Italy just fights me until the end, there's just no way.
Are you the
Basically.
board top now?
Huh?
Are you the board top now? Because France is also on 7 after this turn, right?
Oh yeah. And I got the tiebreaker, baby.
That's true. You've got the
So,
tiebreaker over everyone except Austria, and I don't think Austria is going to be competing for it.
Yes. Yes. And so, at this point, England proposes a draw, actually. I say yes.
For the record, for viewers who don't know exactly how it works, if you draw in a board top style game like this where only the top player goes through, that is essentially the same as conceding to whoever has the most supply centers at that point, or has the most supply centers on the tie break over the other people with that many supply centers. So what England was proposing there is concede to Ezio. It's
Yes. Which obviously Ezio is okay with. So that's great. But unfortunately, everyone else on the board is not okay with this.
I can imagine.
So that's fine. And look, I'm on 7. Italy's on 7. So Italy lost something. That fleet in Syria is no longer around to annoy me. This is great. And here, I again talked to Italy, and I'm like, Italy, if you don't defend against France, you cannot win this game. If you're like, I am happy to not attack you anymore, because if you don't defend against France, I also can't win the game. So I need you to defend against France, or else neither one of us can win the game. And I know we've been fighting this whole game, but we really got to work this out. You need to go defend against France. Like, I won't go for Serbia or Budapest. Like, I won't do whatever. And then it was like, dude, I told you I was going to fight for Romania and Bulgaria until the end of the game, and that's what's going to happen. And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, I know that Italy, like, hasn't been talking explicitly about throwing in such a fashion, but I think that this is just throwing the game to France. Like, hey, he took Tunis. He's gonna take more from you. You have the ability to defend. I'm offering to make a deal with you to give us both the chance to win the game, and you just don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's going that. Let's do power rankings, Captain Meme.
All right, I will go to the winter position here. There's a fleet, Marseille, fleet Constantinople, makes sense. Yeah, an army London. All right, so power rankings. First, we have to say goodbye to Russia. Sorry, Russia, but they have been eliminated.
First elimination power rankings was in the 1908 power rankings, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Austria just about hanging in there, but obviously last place. I was gonna put England second last by default, but they actually have 5 supply centers, which isn't terrible.
Yeah, just a quick center count for everyone. By the way, we got 7, 7, 7, 5, 1.
Yeah,
4-way tie at 7 in 08.
That's incredible.
That's pretty sick.
Okay, well, France is definitely at the top in this position, right? There's not really, yeah, like just the fact that they've got very little pressure on them at the moment. They also have the Italian centers wide open for them right there, and especially given
and again,
what you
Italy said they're not defending. So I think, by the way, since Italy's not defending, they're last behind Austria. They can't win. they can't win. There's. You need to be like they can't win this game if they're not going to defend Rome and Naples.
Well, I don't know. They can grab Vienna. They can try and grab Romania. That's not going to work.
But they can't get anything.
Yeah, it's
like, yes, they can contest Bulgaria and Romania, but they actually can't break this line.
It
they're going to have some guesswork around things, but like it doesn't work. They can't hold it.
Yeah. Do they have a better tiebreaker? They have a better tiebreaker than everyone but you, right? Who's left here?
No, I think they're losing to Germany in the tiebreaker as well.
Okay, interesting.
But like ultimately, like if they're gonna lose multiple, right? Like if they're losing Rome and Naples, then
Yeah,
they
but
might also lose Venice. Like,
this is all assuming that they're telling you the truth. They might have a change of heart or something.
I'm telling you honestly, they are telling the truth.
Okay. Um. All right, fine. I'll put them down here then. But I don't know.
The position isn't that bad. I do agree. The position is playable.
Mm.
Like if they send anything back, if they try to peace out with me, like I won't be that aggressive against them this year. I need them to go turn around against France. I will wait until the end of the year, and by that point, maybe they can stabilize in the Balkans.
Yeah. I
But
think it's worth noting that they're allied with Germany as well. Maybe Germany goes down and hits Moscow for them, and then you have a bit of a problem on your hands, right? Maybe they make some progress
yes,
that way. Um, either way, it's really tough to say who they'd be better than. Maybe Germany, because I don't see where Germany gets the extra dots. Germany's extra
Warsaw,
dots would need to
Moscow.
be Warsaw and Moscow, but then they lose their line against England. They lose their line against France, right? That's not gonna
Well, they
work
need
out for
England
them.
to like for Germany to win. England needs to flip.
Yeah.
And especially if we expect that France is going to be getting dots from Italy, then Germany and England need to work together against France to deny France a couple of dots, or else France gets too much. And again, for context, guys, we're in '09, so there are 2 years left in this game. There's this year and the next year, and that's it.
Hmm. Yes. I,
So we're running out of time to make things happen.
hmm. Trying to figure, like, your position doesn't seem too strong in terms of actually getting stuff as well. I'm
Nope.
Am I really putting England in second? I think I might be putting England in second. Like the fact that they can grab the Scandinavian dots here is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And then do I put you above or below Germany? It feels really weird to have this Italy in second last. It
I
feels too
agree.
good.
I think that the Italian position has play, but
Hmm.
if Italy is saying that they are not, they're just giving up on Rome and Naples and Venice, they're just not going to defend it all, then like I don't think they can win.
All right. So would you put yourself above Germany or not in this position?
I wouldn't. I think that Germany's line is to just get England on side, and if Germany gets England on side, Germany's got shit tons of play.
Okay, I will leave it like this then. France first, England second, Germany third, Turkey fourth, Italy fifth, Austria sixth.
I could see Germany above England. I could see it being that actually.
Okay, I'll do that then. Uh, I
Yeah,
just
either
don't
one.
like the German position because like Vienna is in an awkward spot that's not going to be kept until the end of the game, and if England does stay committed against Germany, Germany can't win. I think is the flip
Yes, I
side
agree
too.
that if yes, I completely agree. But if Germany attacks England, England also can't win. To be clear, I think that if Germany and England fight, I think that England will end the game on more supply centers than Germany. Is how I see that war going. I think Germany is going to lose Vienna, and I think that um, England is going to get like Sweden and Denmark type stuff. And
Yeah,
if England just gets Sweden and Denmark, then that's enough to flip the two's position. But I think that Germany has two more dots, so I think Germany has a better chance of winning the game than England does because Germany just needs England to not.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
All right. I'm happy with those power rankings. Then, shall we go to the spring?
let's do it.
All
Let's look at
right.
some moves.
Spring 1909, penultimate year of the game. You do manage to blow up an Italian unit here, because they break their
Well,
alliance with
Budapest,
Germany.
they do. Yeah, Germany was supporting Trieste and Budapest, then the Italian position would be still solid in the east if Italy had accepted that.
Mm.
But Italy didn't, um, and here we are.
Yeah, you get a unit blown up as well. Bulgaria, that is painful.
Well, they get back into Aegean as compensation.
Mm. And this is the most painful thing on the board to see. Tyrrhenian Sea and Ionian Sea. Ouch.
Yep, it's not unexpected. But yeah, we know what's happening. So, yikes.
Yeah, do you have much more to say on this, or should we?
Just that like France is gonna be on 9 centers at the end of the year. Italy's not. There's the tactics around the Balkans are still pretty cool and complicated. Um, it's a fleet on Bulgaria's south coast, which is rather limiting. And so like I think guarantee Bulgaria, and I think I can do that while throwing two on Serbia. But I just assume that Italy is going to support hold Serbia.
Hmm.
Um, like obviously Germany, by the way, with the tap on Moscow, right, was hostile to me, and then the putting two on Warsaw is kind of hostile to me because like Austria is anti-Italian and keeping Austria alive is important. And then obviously I was going to get Warsaw at some point this game because that's just what I assumed. But whatever, this is fine. Um, so yeah, that's great. Then but France is in Ruhr and France is in Burgundy, so Germany's position looks pretty shot right now, and losing Vienna is pretty bad.
Yeah, and Germany is also now gonna be angry at Italy for doing this, right? So they might be willing to just not do this kind of thing anymore after this to make up for it. I don't know. You know more about that than me.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hmm.
Just in the tactics around the Balkans, by the way, like the one tactical thing that I want to highlight. So there's an Italian army in Vienna, Trieste, Budapest, and Serbia. Um, I need there to be some unit tapping Serbia so that I can use Aegean to tap Greece, so that I can support myself from Constantinople into Bulgaria to ensure that I guarantee Bulgaria.
Wait,
So
sorry. So
that's
there's no Italian unit
so.
in Budapest, right? It's just
There's an Austrian unit in Budapest.
yeah,
Forgive me.
yeah.
But so I need something to be tapping Serbia, so that I can take Bulgaria. And then the question is, what do I do with Serbia? What do I do with Romania to counter what Serbia is doing? Because Serbia it can be support holding Bulgaria. It's probably not doing that, but it might. Um, then there's a solid chance where Italy has Vienna and Trieste. Has Vienna and Serbia support Trieste to Budapest. It could also support, like, just double support Serbia to Budapest, which would make a lot of sense. Or it could have Trieste support Serbia, and then Vienna moves to Budapest
Hmm.
with support from Serbia. And then if we support Budapest down to Serbia, then it doesn't get counted. That one gives Germany back a dot. So if Italy was like very pro Germany, that could be the tactical line that they take. Or if they do the double support from Serbia up to Budapest, which is kind of what I was expecting.
Hmm.
Um, and so the tactics that I do with Romania, having Romania tap Serbia beats either the double support up or it beats the Trieste support Serbia, and then Serbia supports Vienna to Budapest. It loses to if you go to the fat tactics, we can see the fall, which is
Okay.
what
Uh,
Italy actually goes for.
hmm. Yeah, it loses to putting Trieste through and just not bothering support holding this. That makes
Yeah, just
sense.
not covering Serbia at all. And so, that's rough. There goes Austria. '07. You fought hard. I misguessed and
Hmm.
got you dead.
Yep.
And we go into the final year of the game. Like this is the fall.
Interest.
Sorry, but like this is rough.
Interesting that France only chooses to take one here, which is gonna mean
Yep.
that Italy builds, I think, because they took off Bulgaria and they get plus Vienna minus Naples, right? Um.
We're building two.
Okay. They got Budapest blown up before as well, right? That's
Yes, they lost
okay.
Budapest in the spring. They lost Bulgaria in the fall. They stayed neutral at dots. They're building two,
Hmm.
which
I
means maybe Italy can defend themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Although given what they've said so far, that seems unlikely. uh.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm just also looking to see if Germany is net anything. It looks like Germany is net neutral because they go plus Warsaw minus Vienna, right? Um, and England pivots and
Yep.
loses London. Oh no.
Yep.
Uh, Curious whether you had any more insight into this sort of situation, but I guess it was on the other side
Um.
of the board, so.
Oh, I knew everything that was happening. At this point in the game. I knew that England was trying to do stuff and was still ostensibly giving them a chance to win, but there was something. I don't think France was supposed to be in the English Channel last phase. I think they were supposed to go via Brest to Mid Atlantic Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and so when France did this, England was frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Germany, like Italy, was supposed to do something different with Vienna. I know. So Germany during this fall was pissed at Italy. Um, and um, that was pretty great because hey, if I get Germany back on side, there's technically a chance if Germany throws to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of it. Because going into last year, if we look at the winter, just to use
Yeah.
this as the analysis, like France is on 9, the all the second places are on 7, and England is on 4.
Yeah.
And so, and like if you look at my position, there's nothing, right?
I don't see how you get any more dart stars of this. Yeah, maybe if Germany helps you, like if maybe there's the thing, right? If Germany is so annoyed at Italy that they decide to throw to you just to screw over Italy because Italy clearly doesn't want you to win, then maybe you've got a shot. But even then, I don't see really what they give you. They can give you 1 dot from giving you something, giving Moscow something, but the rest of your units are pinned, right?
Romania
It's
can make it to Warsaw.
yeah, but then you, uh, yeah, I guess that's true. So they could give you St. Petersburg plus Warsaw to get you to 9. This only works if France doesn't take anything else, and they, well, they pass up the easy dots on Venice and Rome, right? Um,
Yep.
assuming that Italy is just giving those over.
Yep. So in this winter, Germany comes to me and offers me to randomize one of us throwing to the other.
Ooh, interesting.
People do coin tosses all the time. That's a thing that happens.
Hmm.
He offers it to be heavily weighted in my favor, like very significantly. I'm not going to disclose the odds of this because I think this is actually a relevant thing that people are going to abuse in the future. But I want everyone to know it was incredibly weighted in my favor, and I won the coin toss. It wasn't a coin toss; it was dice roll equivalent. But Germany agrees to throw the game to me at this phase. Because he's so pissed at Italy, like he wouldn't offer this if he wasn't already pissed, and like technically this gives him a chance to win. Um, but like, yeah, this is pretty great. England is pissed at France, so England, Germany don't want France to win, and they're both willing to do everything they can to help me win the game instead,
Hmm.
because France pissed them off. And
Okay.
I need everything to happen. I need Italy to defend against France because if Italy doesn't defend against France, it's over. I need to get the dots against from Germany without losing anything to Italy, which is not trivial given the density of fleets in the Med. And I need the tactics to work around France in the West.
Hmm.
And by the way, I know that both England and Germany like each other more, and both of them are incredibly disappointed at the results of the dice roll, being that I was the one to win the game. And I am petrified the two of them are going to find a way to actually throw to each other. Because if I just look at the tactics on this board, it looks obvious to me that England has a much easier time of throwing to Germany than throwing to me.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very real chance that England and Germany could coordinate to throw each other the game. Um, and Germany has sufficiently pissed me off that I would rather see anyone else in the game win other than Germany. Through the way
Because
that
they
Germany
worked with
handled
Italy on that one turn earlier.
the way that
Well,
the couple turns back, the way that he's negotiated it was terrible. I think that he like there's so he flipped to Italy twice. There was the one major turn when he was in Vienna and when he was in Trieste, excuse me, Trieste of Bohemia, and then he backed out of Trieste into Vienna rather than going to push for Budapest. So there was
yes.
that turn back in '08. And then in the spring of '09, when he was still in Vienna, we were still going to work with him and help him out, but then he instead leaked the plans and told Italy what was going on. Instead of putting himself in Tyrolia and Bohemia able to retake Vienna, he made plays to go for Warsaw instead, and had no play in the south and just lost everything. So he like took his own win equity out at the cost of my win equity to put himself in this position.
Okay, so
And so
I'm assuming that
yeah.
you're avoiding talking about this for exactly this reason, but I'm gonna call you out on it anyway. If the coin toss had not gone your way, would you have backed out?
I don't have to confront that because it didn't happen. I have never lost a coin toss, and I haven't thrown as a result of a coin toss, and I don't intend to take a coin toss unless I think it's not going to happen.
All right.
Like it was this was heavily weighted in my favor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't have to confront that.
All right, I will leave that on that note for that.
And again, coin tosses, other people have done coin tosses, they do 50-50s. This was a dice roll, to be clear.
Yes.
And not of a D6. Okay. So it was unlikely to happen, but it could happen. And if the Great King wants to reveal it, then he can reveal it. Point is, I won the coin toss. I won the randomization, and I did what I could to get Germany to throw to me. Is how I feel about this. And I am not above using any methods to get someone else to throw to me.
Very fair.
So,
all right.
Yeah, not how I wanted it to go, but it is ultimately how it went. I would have preferred to just get him to graciously agree to give me everything, the way that Austria and Russia did. But whatever, it's fine. But tactically, it's still cooked, right? If Italy continues to not defend against France, it just doesn't matter. And then the tactics in the West need to happen, and I need to do this in such a fashion where I also can't get England and Germany to throw to Germany. And so I figured some things out, and then I assumed that these people had like talked more ahead of time, but I think both of them just hadn't. And so I throw them tactics pretty late in the phase, like what I think they should do. Specifically, Norway needs to convoy to Yorkshire, and then English Channel should do. I'm expecting Paris going to Picardy, so English Channel needs to bounce. English Channel needs to bounce Picardy, and then we go for and then a support from Munich into Bruges made sense to me. But there were other lines about that one that we could have done, but I think like English Channel to Picardy and convoy to Yorkshire. But England doesn't want to do that for whatever reason. England wants to instead convoy to Eddie and send English Channel into Belgium. And then they came up with a specific move sequence that this was slightly better against. I don't even remember what it was, because the convoy to Yorkshire just handles everything better.
Yeah.
And then it means you can put 2 on London in the fall.
Yeah, I don't think the convoy to Edinburgh does anything at all, right?
Well, it covers Liverpool in case London goes to Wales.
Oh, that's true. But then so does Yorkshire. So
exactly. I don't remember what but it's more likely to go through. I know. And so if you're trying to give Norway to Germany, then you need to go to Eddie to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. But no, it was Yorkshire. I don't know. It should have gone to Yorkshire, and I remember telling them that. But like, ultimately, these people are agreeing to do things to help me win the game. I'm not gonna like yell at them if they have to do it my way or the highway. And ultimately, it probably doesn't matter anyways, because France is probably gonna get 2 more dots from Italy, and it's probably not gonna matter. So like, why fight too hard? It's mostly irrelevant. France has just won this game, even with Germany agreeing at this late stage to help me win.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so we can see the spring tactics actually, just to see what the board looks like after the spring.
Okay. So you are pulled up to Galicia. This makes sense. I was wondering, how are you gonna keep Romania with the fleet on Bulgaria's south coast? Obviously it can't help, and you've got to get this unit up north. Makes sense, just completely surround it, like give it up on this turn and then take it back on the next. That makes sense. Interesting that Italy bounced France out of Venice. I mean, is there anything else here that you want to call attention to particularly, or?
Yeah, I mean, Italy bouncing France out of Venice actually was a very relevant thing that I saw
Hmm.
because it tells me that Italy and France haven't spoken that much, and there probably isn't an explicit arrangement between Italy and France to throw.
Hmm.
And I'm looking at things, and okay, if I get Warsaw and St. Petersburg, assuming that Germany sticks through it, and given what Germany did this phase, I think that's pretty reasonable. Germany did exactly the moves I requested. Um, then, if I get these two dots, then I'm up to 9. France is currently on 9, plus the Rome spot that they got, that's 10. So, if France doesn't get any other dots anywhere on the board and loses one of London or Belgium, I'm in the game.
Hmm.
So, there is a guess. There's only a guess because Norway went to Eddie. If Norway had convoyed to Yorkshire, then North Sea and Yorkshire coordinate to take London, and mom's your uncle. That'd be it, right? Just France stays on. Venice. We'll talk about Venice in a second. But assuming France does like Belgium, France can retake Belgium, guaranteed if they want, because France can have Ruhr tap Holland, English Channel tap North Sea, and then Picardy and Burgundy work together to take Belgium. You have to take it from Burgundy. There is a fleet in Belgium, so it can't do a supported attack into Burgundy. And so it's a guaranteed capture of Belgium this phase if they want. Notably, we don't have to worry about losing position, like losing Burgundy or losing North Sea this phase, because this is the last year of the game. Last phase of the game. But if you go for that guaranteed on Belgium, then England can walk back into London. And so you end up net -1 in the west. And so even though you've gained Rome in the east, you're still only on 9. So the analysis that I looked at was like, okay, so England has to win a guess in the west. And I need to get Italy to not give France Venice.
Hmm.
Um, how do you think I should go about doing that, Captain Meme?
Oh, yeah, that's tough, right? Because if you go to Italy and just beg them or whatever, the way that they've responded prior makes me think that that will make them less likely to do it because last time you went to them and said, "Hey, please, whatever," they said, "Look, you broke the agreement earlier. I'm not going to do that." I think this sounds like the stupidest thing possible, and it's a very stupid approach from me, but my view on it would be I would probably just not mention it and hope that they do it anyway, because I feel like me making it very clear that the game rests on whether they go to Venice or not would make them more likely to decide the thing against me, right? If they realize, hey, Venice causes Turkey to win the game, if I bounce it, then they might choose I won't bounce Venice because Turkey would win otherwise. Whereas if they're just looking at it of, oh, I want to end up on as many dots as possible, they bounce Venice by default, right?
Yep. What if you know that Italy hates throwing and hates throwers?
I mean, that's tough as well because you're the one being thrown to, right? So you really don't want to bring that point up.
I really don't, do I?
No.
Well, guess what I do, Captain Me?
Did you stay completely silent, or did you?
Nope, I locked Italy and said, "Hey, Italy, you want to not throw the game?"
No.
And then
Okay.
Italy's like, "Excuse you, the fuck?" And I'm like, "I think there's a chance I win the game, but if you go to this to France, then France might win the game instead if you throw." And he's like, "Well, first of all, fuck you for calling me a thrower. Second of all, how the fuck can you win? Only way you could ever possibly win is if Germany just fucking gives you everything. Excuse you." And I'm like, all right, fair points all around. But have you considered I haven't thrown to anyone? I've just got people to throw to me. eh? Eh? That's different. And I do think it's a huge difference. Like, diplomacy is a game of getting people's dots. However you do it, however you can, that's what makes it work.
Mm.
He did not like this very much.
I can imagine.
He did say, you know what? But I will respect that you haven't then threatening throws to everyone for the entire game, unlike everyone else in the lobby. Unlike, he used some very negative terms to describe France, Austria, Russia, and Germany.
Mhm.
So he was very pissed at them, clearly. And again, we've been lying to each other. We've been fighting the whole game. But, like, we were, I think, honorable diplomacy players by lying and stabbing each other back and cheating the whole game. Um,
uh,
and we had a level of respect. And he was like, "Look, you should not have told me this. I was gonna cover Venice every time without knowing that Germany was throwing to you.
I was
So
right.
why on earth did you tell me that you were getting thrown to? You absolute numbnut." Now I have this really hard decision to make because your win is tied with Austria and Russia getting what they want, and you've been annoying. You've frustrated me, but you haven't pissed me off the way that they do. The three of you are all inextricably tied in my head because they've thrown to you from like '03. Notably, in their defense, Austria certainly didn't do that. Italy stabbed the shit out of Austria, and then Austria fought back as hard as Austria could. So I
Mhm.
think that's a little unfair to say like they weren't trying to throw to me at all. It was just Italy stabbed their asses and put them in lost positions where then they retaliated against the person who stabbed them. But nevertheless, this was how Italy thought and how Italy felt. And so knowing that Italy could potentially deny them what they wanted by just not defending was really bad. So I was like, interesting.
That's the thing, right?
Hmm.
I was I was right that you should have stayed silent, but it's so different to like say that in a commentary and say, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't bother talking to the person who the game rests with," right?
Oh
As
yeah.
opposed to actually
I
being
thought
in the
about it.
game and going, "Do I? Am I supposed to just not talk to this person? Am I supposed to not attempt to convince them?" Because then, if they'd let the person go into Venice, you're like, "I could have
I'll
tried."
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Captain Meme, let me tell you, this was the greatest thing I could have possibly done. Let's go to the fall.
Alright, fall 1910. It's a bounce. Alright. And a correct guess on the. Well, France doesn't even go for Belgium at all.
France doesn't go for the Belgium guess because Italy doesn't want to throw to France, but also desperately wants France to win. And so Italy did everything Italy could to make Munich more likely. And
Hmm.
so they thought that they were going to get Munich, but they needed to give the dot to France, so Italy couldn't take it from Tyrolia, and so Munich was actually safe. So there was no guess in the West. So Italy
Okay.
denied Venice. France didn't go for the guess in the West because Italy also didn't tell France that Italy wasn't going to let him take Venice. So France assumed France was getting Venice, and everything else in this game was moot because France will be on 10. There's no tiebreaker, there's nothing. But Italy secretly, because Italy lied to everyone all the time this game, it was great, didn't tell France about Venice. France was overly confident, didn't go for the guess that France said after the fact they were going to go for Belgium if they were trying to win. And I mean,
Hmm.
fair. Like, I don't know. It's plausible. It's a solid guess, but just guessing. Who knows? But France didn't even try to go for the guess. Italy did defend Venice. Germany didn't defend St. Petersburg or Warsaw.
And that. Do you mind if I move to the final position?
Yeah, final position.
Alright.
It's
And
a
that
two-way tie on 9.
results in 9 for Turkey, 9 for France. Yeah, and you get the tiebreak, so you advance. Wow. What an ending. That's insane.
Yeah.
I can imagine
Yeah.
that you will have been absolutely thrilled after that turn went through.
I was so confident that this wasn't going to work, that anything was going to go wrong. I wasn't even checking. It wasn't until England sent me a DM, congratulations, that I was like, wait, what? And then I came in and was like, "Oh my god.
Wow.
What a game."
Well, congratulations, especially coming back from that, like, 1901 to
And the
this.
1902.
It honestly shows, like, why Turkey is so feared, right? in that you can come back from a position like that to something like this. But even then, you just about managed to get this. Like, wow, well done.
I mean, I will say that something like this, if we go back last year, it took Germany literally just letting me walk into all of Germany's stuff for me to
Yeah.
get this win, right? But it was a fighting chance. It took the Austria-Italy-Russia alliance breaking up in such a fashion that I could re-solidify my legs. Like the fall of '03 was such a big turnaround, when I could likely have been eliminated. But then Russia supported me in Khan and put me in Smyrna. Right, this just completely changed the game.
Yeah.
And so then, hey, look, we're back. We're able to fight. And then the lack of retreat, right, from Smyrna, the disband on the retreat. This phase was just unbelievable.
Mm.
And then we were able to fight. I wish that I had been able to convince Germany in some other manner other than the coin toss, than like the die roll, the randomization, because that always feels kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't respect it nearly as much as other manners of diplomacy. But fundamentally, whatever works to get someone to give you their thoughts. And hey, I won, so results oriented. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, on top board style games, kingmaking is a pretty big thing towards the end of the game, right? It's always going to be consideration, and you managed to take advantage of it here. Maybe not in the way you wanted to, but hey, it worked.
Yeah, like to be clear, with kingmaking and like throwing in general, I get annoyed by it as opposed to people just trying to win the game for themselves. But I'm much more okay with the like I'm pissed at Italy for playing this game in such a fashion that I will then fight against them. Or like I like the way that you've played this game and I've appreciated working with you, so I'm going to give you a good position. I'm going to give you the win as a result because I like you. Those types of things, they're frustrating, but I am really totally fine with them because that's the nature of diplomacy. I don't like I hate these sorts of randomization mechanics where people just like work together to say, hey, if we let's flip this coin and choose who wins the game. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It feels bad,
Mm.
but it worked out for me in this context. So hey,
yeah. So now you love it, right?
No, that's not true at all. But I did it and I won. So
that's what matters. Well done coming back from that. It is absurd.
Seriously.
And that means that
it's the best comeback I've ever had, for sure.
Yes, and this was your last chance to get into the finals, right? Which means we are going to see you in the finals of this Olympus tournament.
Yes, I will be in the Olympus finals.
All right, and we can hopefully see another great performance in that one, or are we going to see a crushed Austria?
Well, so just as a heads up for everyone, I am 5th in the Paris order. So I'm gonna tell you, I we'll see how things go, but I'm not gonna be stuck with Austria or Turkey. I'll tell you that much.
All right, that makes sense.
My understanding, by the way, is that this is the second Turkey win on any Olympus board semifinals or finals.
Okay.
This is only the second.
Wow.
Because Turkey just doesn't win in these.
Yeah, because they continuously get ganged up on at the start.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. Like the recent meta for Turkey is so bad. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. It'll be exciting. Looking to play against Ed and the Diplomats, so that'll be fun. And this will be my second consecutive Olympus finals, which is cool. Like I entered last season for the first time, and this is the next season. And last season I also pulled it in on the skin of my teeth, and so here we are again.
Aye.
I need to do better things for my heart rate, man.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing hopefully better things for your heart rate, being you dominating and absolutely just easily winning the finals. I'm sure that will happen.
That would be good for my heart rate. Yes, I'm confident that everyone will just give me everything I ever want.
Perfect. All right. Well, congratulations again, and thank you to everyone for watching this. Ezio, any last words on this game?
Nah, I've said everything I need to say.
Alright, well, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.